Time for a new game. So, by new, I mean this is a very old game. Dungeons and Dragons Online is an MMO, but it is also just one of the best Dungeons and Dragons games that has been released. If you liked anything of the sort of like the Baldur's Gate games, the Icewind Dale, Neverwinter Nights, any of those old classic Dungeons and Dragons games, this is a great game to just play through solo. There's a lot of lore and interesting stuff in here, and incidentally, maybe you get to play with some of your friends. It is an MMO. If you get lonely, you get bored, you want to do some harder stuff, it's there. It's there. You can just play with other people if you want to. But I play this game completely solo, and I can do just about everything. Every class is viable. There's a bunch of cool stuff to do. So I'm going to be demonstrating leveling an entire character all the way to level cap. We're going to run through all of the quests, all completely solo, new player friendly. I'm going to explain how the game works as we go, because one of the two criticisms of this game I see a lot. One, it's a gigantic wall of text at the beginning of the game. If you don't already understand Dungeons and Dragons 3.5, or at least have a firm grasp of like why things work in 5th edition, it's gonna be a little rough without somebody telling you what all the things mean. And also, this game came out in like 2006 or something like that, so even on a full maxed out, well, level cap went up, so not as maxed out character, the graphics are not what you'd be expecting for a game in 2022, 2023, depending on when this video goes live. Yeah, so I will say this game looks fantastic for its age. They update things, they add things, and when you're playing, like, gameplay is more important than graphics anyway. Nobody really cares that Overwatch 2 has like twice as much of the graphic, because it's not as fun to play. So come play an old game. It is not nearly as bad of a grind as something like trying to play EverQuest or the original World of Warcraft, carried purely by nostalgia. This is actually a good game. So I have made our starting character just to make sure that our name wasn't taken. That takes a couple tries usually. But I'm going to go through character creation right now, because when you turn this game on, if you've never played it before, I want you to be able to just follow along with exactly what I'm doing, and you'll be fine. So you're going to not have any characters here, obviously. You're going to hit create. So what we're going to do, we're going to be playing a Paladin. So we're going to stay on the melee style. Male and female is a cosmetic choice. It has, far as I know, not even any corner cases that it's important in game. So yeah, pick whatever you want. As I am playing on technically the wife's account right now, so because I needed the character slot, I made a female Dragonborn, so it matches the rest of her characters on the off chance she plays it. So we're going to get melee, female. We are playing a Paladin. We're going to stick to the core regular Paladin. We're picking Paladin because it is reasonably defensive, has a lot of passive defenses, so you don't have to push the button. The defense is just always there. And because you're a melee fighter, you get right up in things' faces and you beat them down. You're going to get a real feel for all of the crunchy combat, all of the jumping, all of the movement involved. All of the classes in the game are viable. The only one that I think is a little tricksy is that Monk tends to get the short end of the stick when they do game updates. So it'll be really good for a while, and then like just incidentally it gets accidentally nerfed over and over again until they go back and fix everything with Monk, and then it's fun again. I mean, it's always fun. Then it gets good again, and then they incidentally nerf things, and then it gets worse. I will say you could follow along with this playthrough with any class. Specialist just means things like the rogue. That's your thief. That's your lock picker, your trap disarmer. You've got all sorts of options. I really recommend make one of every character. That's what I did. I just have one of everything. They all play differently enough that I like having all the different ones around. I would say the only thing I wouldn't do is sorcerer or favored soul. Favored soul you have to unlock anyway. If you're going to play a spellcaster, jump into either cleric or wizard first. Because these ones you get, especially cleric, you get full access to all of your spells all the time. Whereas sorcerer, you have to pick your spells and you're stuck with them. Which, if you don't already know what you're doing, that's no good. No bueno. So, cleric, you can pick your spells whenever you want. Wizard, you can switch your spells whenever you want. In town, basically. Wizard, you have to go learn your spells, but that's a very minor speed bump. And by the time you're like level 5, you can just kind of, okay, I know how I'm doing this now. You turn around, you just go learn all the spells. It's very simple to get over that problem. But just to keep things simple, we're going melee, we're going paladin, regular paladin. Never, ever, ever pick the little pre-made path things. What these mean is that they're going to level your character up for you and pick all your abilities for you, which might have been fine 15 something years ago, but none of their choices are any good anymore. They were arguably not good back then either. Always hit customize. Always hit customize. Even if you're just following a build like mine or one of the other hundreds of builds on the forums, just always customize. I'm going to go to Dragonborn. One of the reasons... So, let's address the elephant in the room. Wizards of the Coast has recently changed race to species because they don't like being associated with the word race anymore. It's kind of a loaded term these days. I get it. This game has not updated that. I don't know if they're going to bother. Dungeons and Dragons does not care about race in as much as, oh, this is where you live. Dungeons and Dragons cares about race as in an Aasimar is literally like half angel. A Dragonborn is descended from a dragon, right? Like the closest you get is you got Drow elf and regular elf, which they're actually not even particularly different. It's just very minor differences unless you're a robot. You literally could play as a robot, okay? I'm going to call that a different race. So, we're picking Dragonborn. If you go over here to stats, or more info. More info says you get a higher strength and charisma and lower dexterity. All of the different races have little changes to them. So like halflings are your hobbit types. So they are going to be faster but weaker because they are literally like 3 feet tall. Gnomes are even smaller, but they get that intelligence bonus. Everybody has a little penalty and a little bonus. Dragonborn buffs both of the stats we want. Dragonborn is also free. Paladin is free. This is a free-to-play game. They have made a buttload of the content free. Some of the things you still have to pay for. I believe I don't even have Tabaxi on this account yet. If you want to be a cat person, you have to pay for it. Does that matter? If you want to be a cat person, pay for it. If you don't, don't. You can earn the points in the game and buy it later if you really want to, or wait for it to go on sale. A couple of these, like the robot. If you like the robot, do not buy it. You can get it for free by getting a character to like level 5. Like, it's very, very early on. You can unlock robot for free. Let's actually, you know what? Just in case you are out here looking to maybe buy something to start out. You do not unlock monk normally, so if you're going to buy monk, you're not going to feel bad about buying that. You unlock favored soul by playing the game. You do not need to buy it. I think you have to buy druid. Rogue bard. You can unlock artificer by playing the game, but it's kind of long. Like, this one's kind of hard to unlock. I just bought it twice because this is my second account. Alchemist you have to buy. Iconics are for experienced people only. They are marketed as a new player friendly thing. You start at level 15 and you have like some cooler, more specific abilities, but just wait until you know what you're doing first. Jumping into level 15 in this game, you're going to get lost and you're going to hate it. Alright, moving back to what we were doing. Dragonborn. Paladin. Hey, future me popping in real quick. A kind commenter reminded me that some of the expansions in Dungeons & Dragons Online are not included in the subscription. You have to buy them separately anyway. And one of those separate ones is one of the things I was using to build this character. So, if you're going to follow along with my character build that I'm doing on the show here, you will need the Feywild expansion pack. If you don't want to commit to having to buy that and you want to just play a pure free-to-play build, I have Strim Tom's channel linked down in the description below. He has a ton of actual, like, 100% free-to-play builds. They're all great. My brother's playing the Acid Arrow build, and he loves it. So, just throwing that out there, I'm going to be using the Feywild stuff. I really recommend you buy that pack anyway. I love that pack. But if you want to keep it purely free-to-play, check out Strim Tom's stuff down below. He'll have a ton of builds for you. Alright, back to the show. So, the way Dungeons & Dragons stats work. 10 is the baseline. You get no bonuses. Every 2 points less, you get a penalty. So, because I haven't spent any of the points yet, like 8 would be a -1 penalty, 6 is a -2 penalty. That doesn't even go down until I go up to 8. And then 9 up to 10, and then I can get rid of that penalty. This is an MMO. So a lot of these things that you would think you need for a Dungeons & Dragons game, like, oh god, my guy's so stupid, he's only got 8 intelligence, what am I going to do? Don't care. It's not going to come up. Doesn't matter that your guy's dumb as a brick, he needs to hit like a truck. You want to be tough as a brick. So, our build we're going to go in here today, we're going up to 17 strength, because that lets us qualify for the greater two-handed fighting. So that's going to be some feats we take that we can use a two-handed weapon and beat the crap out of things. You need at least 17 strength to qualify to take the feat. We're going to leave dexterity at 6 because we don't care. We're a clunky paladin. We're going to go constitution up to 16. Constitution is everybody's second most important stat. Every single class. You do not want to skip constitution because that's your hit points. That's your health. That's how you don't die. Most classes pick between strength and con. Like, if you're a fighter class and you're going strength, that's you hit harder. Dex is that you are more like a rogue and you hit nimbly, but it's basically two flavors of the same thing. Make number go up, do better. Constitution, everybody's got to grab, though. Intelligence, we're going to ignore it. That's a wizard stat. We don't care. Wisdom, don't care. It's a cleric stat. We are going to need 14 wisdom in order to cast our handful of paladin spells later. But in older editions of Dungeons and Dragons, it only cares about your current total, not your natural total. So we can wear an item to boost our wisdom, and it'll count. So we don't have to waste the points on our actual character creation. And then charisma, we're going to go all the way to 18. Charisma is actually going to be our main stat. We're going to put all of our level ups into charisma. We're going to boost charisma more than everything else. Paladin used to be really hard because you needed strength and con and charisma and like you needed, they called it multiple ability score dependency, or MAD. Paladin was almost crippled by it for a long time until they released something that we're going to take advantage of when we get to about level 5 or 6. Until then, we're going to lean on that 17 strength. That's fine. But later in the game, we're going to be riding that big charisma. So you'll note I have 4 more points because this is an existing account, and I have unlocked the ability to start with 32 instead of 28. I'm going to dump them into dexterity. All that's going to do is make my guy ever so slightly better at dodging traps and ever so slightly better at dodging attacks. It's literally a difference of 2 in a game that goes up to like 150 on that particular stat to make it matter. I'm not going to put anything into dexterity. I just needed somewhere to put the points so that you and I are on the same page here, because it will not let me hit next unless I spend the points. So, another wall of text, right? Getting through character creation is terrifying for a new player. That's why they put those paths there, but the paths are garbage. Every level you get some skill points. This is based on your intelligence score. So if you notice you play a rogue or a wizard, you're going to have a ton more skill points. 4 per rank at level 1, 1 point each after that. So we effectively only get to pick 1 skill. Because if I max this out right now, I'm only going to get 1 more per level for the rest of this character's life. So if I do this, won't do me any good, because I'll only get 1 every level for the rest of the character's life. All of these do something. Most of them are bad, because they're based around pen and paper D&D, and a lot of these skills just don't mean anything in this game. Even the ones that look like they should mean something don't mean anything. The only one we're going to care about, because we only have 4 points, use magic device. You see how it starts at it starts as NA, not available at the start, and it has a little asterisk, which means it's going to cost me double points. I only get half a point at a time. That's fine. Use magic device lets you use wands and scrolls and stuff that you might not, that don't match your class, so we could do more things. It also lets you kind of cheat on like, oh, this hat is only for an elf. Well, I can wear it anyway because I have use magic device. Use magic device is a charisma-based skill. So all of that charisma we're getting is going to feedback loop into use magic device and make us even better at doing that. And it's going to give us access to so many things. It is the best skill in the game, bar none. Just no question. You could make the argument that sticking a piece of, like a little point into tumble is also a good idea. Since I have no tumble, if I fall off of a bridge, I'm going to go splat and I'm going to take a lot of damage. Because I have no points, I just take all the damage. If I had anything here, it would roll a dice to see how much damage I take. So usually I usually do this. I usually put 1 rank into tumble, but this character is dumb as a brick, and I'm not going to worry about it. We're just going to find a feather falling item, put it on, and never worry about falling down off of things ever again. Feats. Wall of text. Wall of text number 3. This is even worse than skills. The skills, there's only like 12 or so of them. You can read them and go, okay, I get what this is for. Oh God, not only are there a million feats, 90% of them are hot garbage. Nobody ever takes them, and they should probably just be removed from the game. That's how bad they are. People only take things like snake blood if they're like legitimately trying to just be like a meme or troll people. Like, a lot of these are just garbage tier. I'm not even like, oh, it's not even like a Coke versus Pepsi kind of preference thing. They're just legitimately bad. And you only get so many feats. It's very easy to take a feat early on, and it's so hard to change feats. Yeah, you want to know what feats you're taking, which is why you're watching this video and looking at the character builds ahead of time instead of just diving in and making mistakes. It is possible to fix feats later. It's just a little more of a headache than I would like. Honestly, I would like them to make it easier, especially if you're a 28-point build, first time through new player. I think you should be able to change your feats at will. They should only start getting locked in as you're playing higher difficulties. But that's just my opinion. We, right now, get 3 feats. We get 1 regular feat, like everybody gets at first level. We get a racial feat, which is our draconic ancestry. And we get a class feat because we're a paladin. So we get to pick one of these highlighted yellow ones to be our religion for our paladin. So, as I mentioned earlier, our regular feat is going to be... Where are you? Oh, two-handed fighting. What this is going to do, it is going to increase the chance that when we swing our giant sword, we actually hit more than one guy at a time. So all of our swings are legitimately going to be area of effect. And this gets better as we take the second and third form of that feat. We are going to take Follower of the Sovereign Host. Probably Sovereign Host, but Host I think is the word for the group. We're going to take this one. These are all the Eberron flavor gods. So you're not going to see things like Lolth in there. You know, none of the regular D&D gods you might be familiar with. These are all Eberron. Because Eberron is awesome. We take this one because at level 6 we get an upgraded form of this feat. And it has to match the one you took at level 1. And it gives us a big heal. Just to push the button. You are at full health. Everything's cleared. It's an excellent emergency heal. You don't even have to use it on yourself. You can point to somebody else and be like, you, be healed. It's great. And it's free and it just recharges over time. As for our racial, we're going to pick red. We pick red because we get a little bit of bonus to whatever color resistance. So by picking red, we get a little bit of fire resistance. And that is one of the most common damage types in the game. It's also one of the ones that hits you the hardest when it does show up. Fireballs and stuff like that. It's just kind of one of the best ones to have. Just take whichever one you like. If you want to be a different color dragon guy, you want to be a white one, you want to be blue or black, and you just want to take the one that matches, go for it. This is a very minor bonus. It's more of a flavor bonus than a build kind of thing. It's just, in my opinion, the most helpful to pick the red one, but take whichever one you want. This is just your summary screen here. And now you put in, you know, what kind of hair, frills, your eye shape, eye color, dragon guy color, put in your name. And then hit create. I'm going to back up because I already made the character. Just to make sure I wasn't sitting here trying to come up with a name for 20 minutes. Not that, you know, happens every single time. And now, we're going to actually get into the game. So, first thing that you're going to see if you are a new character is not what I'm going to see. This, just as a preview for something you might find later, this is a kind of a landing zone. This is where new characters go and they select whether they want to start at level 1, 4, or 7. This is just a feature that I have unlocked that I can start at a higher level if I want to. I am going to start at level 1, and now it's going to look like what you would find if you started the game. It'll probably just dump you right here. So, I'm also, in addition to walking through all of the quests, I'm also going to talk about the lore, because all of my friends and family are allergic to reading, and they don't understand anything that's going on, and I love the lore, so I'm going to talk about the lore. Your boat, which is over there, got attacked by a white dragon on your way to Stormreach. And you washed up on the shore with all the rest of this junk. Apparently, you are the only survivor. And then this little guy, Jeets, he found you. So, this is going to be a tutorial mission, basically. You left click to talk to guys, you use WASD to run around. You can use the arrow keys, but then unless you're left-handed, your other hand is on the wrong side of the mouse, so you're going like this. Just use WASD like a true computer gamer. Use the mouse to click on things. I like to hold down right mouse button, because then I can just move the camera around, kind of FPS style. So I can look at where I'm going at all times. I have to fix my UI. It is already bothering me. So there is a chat window. You can go to the edges and drag to make it bigger. And then I'm going to wait until it's a little plus shape and drag it right back into the corner where it was. I am purposely putting my camera over the top of it on the off chance that, you know, I may be chatting with somebody from the guild or something at the time. It's not going to show them there. I prefer my targeting orb. So there's nothing to target over here. But this is what you are currently targeting. If you have certain abilities unlocked, it'll show you the number of HP things have, but it will at least show you their HP bar. It also shows it over their head. So this is just kind of a neat thing. I'm going to hit this eyeball because I actually like this more square one to fit in that corner. This is my main ability bar. If I push 1, 2, 3, so I can go right now. 1 is sneak mode. It is legitimately Elder Scrolls crouch and you are stealthed. It doesn't work very good in this game, unfortunately, for technological limitation reasons. Sunder and Trip are neat little attacks. We're never going to use Sunder, but we will keep Trip. We're never going to use Sneak either. We're never going to use Defensive Fighting. What is this? Smite Evil Ranged? Nope. So as a Paladin, we get Smite Evil. So right now we're a level 1 Paladin, so 1 time per day I can push the 1 button and smite something. And now, even when that comes off cooldown, I don't have any charges left. I either have to rest, or I believe they very slowly come back. 1 every 90 seconds. 1 every 90 seconds. You can kind of spam them when you get to higher levels, but at low levels, hit the boss with it, maybe. Little magnifying icon is search. So this is looking for secret doors and stuff like that. If you're a rogue, it's going to live on your bar forever. If you click the little arrows here, you can get lots of bars. There are 20 bars total. And more interestingly, if you hit this arrow, you detach them. So I like to run around with 4 bars. I have my main one that I have, you know, because I'm using WASD on the keyboard, I can reach my fingers up and hit like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pretty easy. So those are the abilities I like to spam. Everything else, I just use my mouse to click on it when I need it. But now I've got lots of space to put items, items, abilities, so I know where they are. If you want your abilities, you can go hit C to go into the character sheet. In the bottom left, there's also a little like menu button that's very obviously there. It's just underneath my face right now. And it has all of these same shortcuts. So I can go over there. It's character sheet's the very top one, right? Or you just hit C. If you go to skills, you can take things like bluff. Anything with a square, you can actually drag it to your bar. Drag it to your bar and use it. We don't have any ranks in any of the square ones, so we're going to ignore it. The only skill we have is use magic device, and it is a hexagon. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Octagon. And it's passive. So we're going to ignore all of these. We will leave search there because we are required to search for the tutorial door. And then I'll take it off the bar. If you go into Feats, attack is here. This does not mean you have to push that button over and over again to attack. It means you are now an auto attack, and it will automatically attack whatever your hard target is. So if you click on a monster, like a boss, you run over and just stand in front of him and not touch anything, you go whack, 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 and it'll just keep auto attacking. It's very handy if you're using a lot of these abilities, because then you don't have to hold down left mouse click to attack. Wow, I attack very slowly. I didn't know that Dragonborn had a bite as part of their... Interesting. So... interesting. We don't need any of that. Don't believe any of these are relevant. The relevant ones already started on the bar. As you level up and you pick feats that you want on the bar, they're just sitting here. Go find them. Drag them to the bar. We don't have any spells, but it works basically the same way. Drag them to the bar. We're not going to worry about enhancements yet, but when we get them and they're square, drag them to your bar. Same thing with destinies. We're not going to get those for a long time. You get abilities, drag the square ones to your bar. And then crafting is just the crafting menu, which I don't touch. So, Jeets is very helpfully wanting us to come up here to their little camp they have set up. They are here, I believe, because they are investigating a cult, if I remember right. There's some Sahagin nearby. And Sahagin are what are they called? Murlocs in World of Warcraft. They're fish people. They're generally evil. And they're basically water goblins. Jeets is going to give us a weapon. We're going to take a great axe, because that is close enough to a great sword. So I opens up the window or inventory, or again, it's right there if you use the actual menu thing. This is your little, get out of here, little tooltips. Go away. All of you, go away. This is your inventory. You have, the game legitimately tracks old school Dungeons and Dragons size, like number of things you can carry limit, and weight limit. Is it going to be relevant? No. We're going to have plenty of strength. We're never going to have to worry about this. And you can get more inventory tabs as we go on. You get 2 more for free, and you will get... you could buy more from the store. I never have, but you can. So, he just gave us this axe. We can just drag it into our weapon slot, and now we're holding the great axe. Whoop. So, whack, whack. And then he wants us to go deliver a message. Sweet. So, you can break crates. Inside of crates are sometimes items. This is the tutorial, so they're actually going to be little starter potions. So it's actually somewhat worthwhile to whack these. Oh, there's a little bit of silver. So I use the Q button. You know, I'm using WASD to run around. Q toggles nearby items you can interact with. If I just push Q over and over, I know all the things nearby I can interact with. And E, right on the other side of W, interacts. E, target with Q, bam. That was actually my auto attack because it was hard targeted. Bam. Spacebar jumps. This game is legitimately three-dimensional. There will be times you need to jump. We're going to follow Talbrun. He's going to show us where the cave is. I'm hitting these because we might get some more silver or healing potions. Boop. I missed the crate. Look, there's another potion. Oh, I missed a barrel. In most cases, I don't actually bother breaking barrels and stuff anymore because there comes a point very quickly where the only reason to do it is to get XP, and XP is so quick and plentiful that I don't care. That's right, this is an MMO, the type of game normally known for endless, forever grinds, and I get too much XP. So, we got all those healing potions, drag them to your bar. Now I can click that button, I'll drink a healing potion. This other stuff I have, I'm just going to throw it in the back inventory slot because you won't have those. Those are things like pre-order bonuses and stuff that I've collected over the years. Don't mind that, I'm not going to use them. We don't have any items to go in our other item slots, but we will. We'll just get them over time. I don't want to accidentally drop my healing potions, so I'm going to push this lock button. And now, even if I tried to throw it away, it won't let me. I can still use them, but I cannot throw them away. This is what it looks like when you go to enter a quest. Almost every quest in the game has difficulty options. So you can pick solo. That only shows up for a handful of like hard-coded solo quests. If you're brand new to the game, you're going to have to pick normal. It doesn't let you pick anything. Well, you can go normal or casual is what the other form of solo is. If you are a subscriber, which, let's be honest, $15 a month for this game is a steal. If you aren't sure you want to play this game or not, go ahead and spend the $15. Just subscribe for a month, run around with everything unlocked, and even if you decide to switch back to free-to-play after that, they give you a big old pile of points you'll have a pile of points to play with to buy other stuff out of the shop that you want to keep permanently. You can just buy things piecemeal, or you can just, if you're 14 and you have no job and you have a ton of time because you don't have a job, you can just play the game for free, and there's a ton of stuff that's already unlocked, and you can just buy more of the adventures as you go, and you can buy cosmetic stuff like races and stuff later. But one of the big bonuses to subscribing is you can skip straight to the hardest difficulty if you want to. I'm going to be playing on normal for everything because this account is a free-to-play account, just like you will be. I will likely off-screen be redoing them, just repeating them, just so we can do them on the harder difficulty for a reason we'll get to later. So we were sent to go and talk to this cleric. We say, "Hi, we washed up on the beach. All right, let's go." She casts the most powerful spell in the game, protection from death. It legitimately means you cannot die. No matter how hard you try, you cannot die while you're in this quest, because it's the tutorial. So, her and her friends, who will likely be spawning and running in behind us, we are working through this cave to fight some Sahagin. Sahagin have been bothering the nearby village. They're here to help out. We're going to climb that ladder. This game has ladders. We're going to jump and fall down the other side here, because this game has actual platforming. I took some damage from that fall because I don't have tumble. And there's a Sahagin. I'm going to left click him to death. This is a lever. You use levers, it opens that door. It also opened the door behind us, so that these guys are now going to catch up to us. Alright. Yes, glory indeed. So they're just kind of talking to each other. We're going to open the next door. And surprise, we get ambushed. Just going to move you over there. So up there, some more fish guys are going to start spawning. And we're just going to help. We don't have to do any actual fighting, but if we kill some stuff, then we'll move on faster, so we might as well help. This is actually pretty common in this game, that you'll walk into a room and then some scripted event will happen. So an ambush or something that you have to finish before you can continue. We're level 1, so I'm just going to hold down left mouse button and then walk myself close enough to physically hit them. This is not EverQuest. This is not auto-target, auto-follow, auto-attack, and use styles as you go. If my axe does not make contact with that guy's face, then I don't do damage. As a melee fighter, you need to run. You have to run into range and hit things. So, another thing this game has, which scares the bejesus out of everybody the first time, water physics. Aim your camera down, push forward, you swim underwater, and you've got a breath meter. Pick up the key. If I didn't have protection from death, it would kill me if I run out of breath. You'll start taking damage, and eventually that damage will rack up, and you die. Or you just hold spacebar and you go straight up. You just push whatever your jump button is, you just hold it down, you'll go straight up and out of the water. In 99% of the water in the game, you can just hold spacebar to get out of the water. These are rest shrines. So, I have taken 5 damage from that fall earlier, and say I go womp and I had used my smite. We're going to rest. Resting legitimately takes a minute, so it does not work in combat. If you get hit because you ran to the shrine, it's going to interrupt your rest. So I got my smite back, I got my HP back. You do not guarantee a full heal when you rest. It's based on your heal skill of you and everybody around you. Don't count on this for healing. This other shrine is a resurrection shrine. If you or one of your friends dies, they're going to drop a little soul stone, which is just the placeholder for dragging their corpse. Pick it up. It'll go in your inventory. You run over here, and then they're going to be controlling a little ghost. If their ghost runs over and tags this shrine, they're brought back to life. So even if most of your friends die, if you are playing with friends, as long as somebody survives to grab the soul stones and run back to one of those shrines, everybody can be revived and you can keep going. You do not instantly lose the quest. So, this is the rogue tutorial. I'm not a rogue, so I cannot find the trap. If you're a rogue, you can find these little boxes and disable the traps, which means that you never have to run through the trap. Almost never. Sometimes the little box is on the other side of the trap, so you have to ninja through the trap and then turn it off for everybody else. I'm a paladin. I'm going to run straight through all of the traps and not care, because they will not be able to kill me. I will be far too defensive, and in a pinch, if something looks scary, equip a shield. Even without the shield feats, just the act of carrying a large shield, as long as you're proficient with it, so a fightery type, just carry a big shield, and it will protect you from a lot of the damage that traps do. So you do need to equip the shield. We don't have one, so I can't show you yet, but when we find one, we're going to keep one. And we're going to drag it to one of our little bars. So when we're about to run through a trap, we can just click the shield on our bar. It'll take off our axe and put on the shield. Ideally with another weapon in hand as well. And we'll run through, and then we'll click on our axe again. Oh, look, a shield. It's a little one. So, treasure. You're going to find a lot of treasure. Most of it's going to be bad. It tells you what it does. This is a ring of water breathing. Starter, it means it's a starter item. It's always here. We're going to drag it to a ring slot. If we need to do a water section and we're feeling anxiety about being underwater and that little breath meter, we can now... I can double click it here, or I can drag it to a bar, and I click it. Boom. Harry Potter style bubblehead charm for a minute and a half. Everybody within range, see Jeet's got it too, now has water breathing. And that recharges. It says 1 per day. That means once per rest. So either finish a dungeon, or be in town for a minute, or go rest at one of those rest shrines, and you'll get your charge back. So I could use this for the entire game. It's not going to matter. There's not that much underwater stuff. And you can carry a permanent water breathing item. So like you could just put the hat of water breathing on, and you never have a meter. And it could just live in the back of your backpack, and you just put it on when you need it. But for now, this is fine. This is a little shield, so we're going to drag it right there, and we're going to drag our axe. So if we do have to run through a trap, there we go. We got a little shield for a tiny bit of damage reduction from the trap, and we can go right back to our axe. And this is some actual armor. Armor takes time to equip. You cannot just switch back and forth on armors. Some people keep the starter rags so they can run around doing little toga parties. I'm not going to bother. Alright. Like I mentioned earlier, we are required to find the one tutorial hidden door. That's what that magnifying glass was for, and now I'm going to throw it away because I'll never use it again. If you're a rogue or you have enough points to put points into search, you can actually find a ton of hidden doors in this game. We dumb fighty man. We're not going to find any. So she's going to give us another reward. She's going to give us... I was kind of hoping there'd be a great sword, but we'll take another great axe. Now we got XP. You don't get XP for killing every single thing you fight. You get XP for completing the mission. It is all or nothing. All or nothing. It might seem harsh, but most missions are very doable, and you can repeat missions. So if you get stuck, you can just overlevel the quest. Come back 3 levels later and just squish it. That's fine. This is Korthos Village. So we have come out this back door into the village. So this is where the Sahagin were getting into the village. It was connected to that cove. So we've taken out all those Sahagin. So now there's legitimately another character here. Interesting. We're now in the village that was having trouble with the Sahagin. There's a bunch of little tutorial guys. We're going to talk to this guy later. He sends you to the alternate level 1 starting zone, which we're going to do next, when we're done with this one. Gold cup means quest. If we talk to her, she says, hey, somebody's vandalizing my family crypt, which is right there. Okay. We go in there. We handle it. These guys called trainers. It might seem like an antique thing, but yes, you have to actually go, and we're a Paladin, so we'd have to find the one that says Paladin. You walk up to Paladin trainer when you're ready to level up. So when this little bar goes all the way and fills each one of these little bubbles up down here, and it says, hooray, you leveled up, big glowy sparkles. Then you go talk to your trainer. And then you're level 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever. Why do you have to do that? Why isn't it automatic? The short answer and the best answer, this game lets you multi-class. So if I get enough XP to level 2 and I also want to be a wizard, I can just go take a wizard level instead. It does not require you to be a paladin your whole career. And mixing and matching classes is a huge character build thing in this game. We are going to be pure paladin because it's way simpler. Don't multi-class unless you know what you're doing or you are following a very specific build. Don't just do it willy-nilly. For one thing, you can only have 3 classes at a time. And if you go druid, bard, alchemist or something silly, they might not synergize well just by themselves. This is not Final Fantasy. You cannot have max levels of every class on one character. Make a different character, or TR, which is a very endgame thing that I'm not going to be covering. So, we're going to talk about this village a minute. There are quite a few little quests. I want to say there's 4 or 5 just in the town. You don't have to go anywhere. You're in town. You can do these quests. There's actually, strangely enough, there's other players here. And I say that is strange, not because people don't play this game. This game has a surprising number of active players, considering its age. What is strange is that it's snowing. So when you start this game, you're going to be on what they call Snowy Side Korthos. When you complete the storyline missions for the tutorial, you will be put back into Korthos Village on the sunny side, which just means you've completed the tutorial. You only come here if you do like I did, and you either are literally a brand new character, or you opt in to do it. So these are people who are either brand new, or they opted into it like I did. I think there's somebody over by the dock here. If you get friends to come play with you, and one of you's on sunny side and the other's on snowy side, you can't see each other. To fix that, run over here and skip the Korthos Island storyline and proceed to the harbor. Then you turn around and you talk to the person to come back to Korthos, and you'll automatically be on the sunny side. So you don't actually have to beat the tutorial to play with other players. You just come talk to Valeria Cinderwind, go to the city, come back, and you're all going to be in the same place. Perfectly fine. There is zero difference between the two sides other than they are basically segregating the brand new players from the players who are redoing their characters over and over again. So that the brand new people and the super experienced people are on 2 different sides. There's nothing stopping. I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to run over here. And I'm just going to go to the other side. If I have to talk to this one. Boom. Yes. Skip. Loading into the harbor. We're going to come to the harbor. Not yet. We're going to probably be level 2 before we even set foot over here. Turn around. Like, literally. I wasn't kidding. Turn around. Talk to her. Go back to Korthos. And now, not snowing anymore. Bright and sunny. Much more powerful players hanging around, so if you get stuck on something and you want to ask for help, the characters you see on this side, which, strangely enough, there aren't as many, could also be a function of the time of day I'm playing. Time of morning, I should say. These are characters who are purposely taking their max level characters back to level 1 to level them up again, because you get a tiny little power boost every time you do that. And some people just like to run on that hamster wheel forever. I don't, but, it's there. It's cool that it's there. I approve of it being there. I don't personally do it, but it's an awesome system to keep you engaged in the game for longer than just getting to max level. So, this building here. These buildings that often have a beer stein sign on them. This is a tavern. Taverns are important. Taverns are where, for one thing, you're going to find a spirit binder. If you fall in battle, can you bring me back? Yes, I want to be resurrected here. If you die in a quest and you don't have any friends and you can't quite run your ghost to the resurrection shrine, you're going to respawn here in the tavern, or at whatever tavern you talked to this spirit binder. So when you get to higher level stuff, every time you find a new tavern, go ahead and talk to the spirit binder. Then if you die, you're in that area. You don't have to run all the way back from Korthos if you forget, and at level 8 you actually die and you wake up in Korthos and have to walk across the continent, which is just like 2 loading zones. It's not a huge deal, but this is like your waystone or whatever they call it in the other games. This is where you respawn. Also, the actual bartender, the one labeled bartender, is a shop. I can sell junk loot I have that I don't want. I can buy drinks and food. What that does is it regenerates my... Where'd it go? There you are. My health over here, and my mana, if I had any, normally come back very slowly just sitting around. Buy food, your health comes back faster. Buy a drink, your mana comes back faster. Just reduces the amount of time you're sitting around here after you die and resurrect. You can also repair. So my rusty great axe took a little bit of damage in that fight. So it's at 109 out of 110 durability. So sure, I will repair it for 1 copper. I don't actually need it, but that's how you do it. I'm actually going to throw that rusty great axe away. I'm just going to drag it out of my inventory. I'm going to throw it away. Because our quest reward earlier was an ember great axe. So we're going to use that instead and just drag and drop it right over that other icon. Now we have a ever so faintly glowing axe. Very faintly. It just does like literally 1 extra fire damage per hit. It's not a lot, but every little bit counts. Boop. Alright. We are going to go and do the Korthos quests. They are in 2 main areas. There's a bunch in town. There's a bunch right outside of town. We're going to hit all the town ones because they're really easy. Hayton's Rest. I can only go in on normal because this account is not a subscriber. Once I beat it on normal, I'm allowed to go in on hard. Once I beat it on hard, I'm allowed to go in on elite. If I beat it on elite, I'm allowed to go in on Reaper. do not go in on Reaper. Reaper is for experienced players trying for a bigger challenge. This is hard mode. Normal is going to end up being a little bit easy. Like if you're following any sort of guide at all, your character is going to feel too powerful for normal mode pretty quick. Hard mode is where I usually run around. Hard mode is my comfortable, the enemies are hard enough that it feels like I'm doing something without having to stress my way through a quest. Elite is most people's standard mode. Actually, most of the forums plays on Reaper. Most real people, they're aiming for Elite. But that's not your first time through. Not at level 1. So, enter quest. Jacoby Drexelhand is here basically saying, hey, get out. And we're like, no, we were told to get in here. He's like, well, screw you. So, family crypt. But all of the crypts are empty. Strange. Oh no. Cultists. Alright. This is a tutorial treasure chest. It has a sword in it. Zombies, skeletons, every enemy type in the game has a little bit different properties. This is the game trying to tell you, hey, zombies are easier to kill with a slashing weapon, skeletons easier to kill with a bashing weapon. Functionally, we're going to be doing so much damage, that's not going to matter. More fish guys, specifically a necromancer we're going to smite! Yeah, now he's dead. Our two-handed weapon is plenty big. And what's this? Crest of the Snake? Better pick that up, sounds important. So, gonna happily bound our way, continuing the only direction we can go. Sometimes quests are gonna be straight lines of just, can you beat this one challenge to keep going? Sometimes they're going to be mazes. Sometimes they're gonna have some dead ends. This is another tutorial chest. There's your mace for destroying skeletons. Doop de doop de doop. Oh no, a Sahuagin necromancer. We're going to try tripping him this time. Boom. I kicked him in his foot and he fell over. When enemies are knocked over, they can't fight back. Oh look, Crest of the Bat. That looks important. You'll notice there's no charges on trip. Like, I can just trip every time that comes off of cooldown, and it's just gonna, the enemy has to roll a die to see if they fall down. If they fail their dice roll, they fall down, and I can just continue to beat on them, and there's nothing they can do about it. Enemies can also do that to you, so don't get too cocky running into combat. Most enemies only have one shtick. These red ones are casters, so they can shoot spells at you. The other ones look like they're typically archers. Undead, their shtick is basically that they are undead, and so they are immune to things like, say you had a spell that would make somebody drown. There's not one of those in this game, but say that was your spell, like, ha, I drown you. Wouldn't work on undead, obviously, they're already dead, so undead is kind of its own shtick. Ooh, a treasure chest with a dead guy. This is the game trying to warn you that traps exist. If I run over there and open that treasure chest, trap. This trap in particular triggers when you step in the water. But it only hits over by the chest. So now, I'm going to open the chest. That won't go off until I step in the water again. Just going to grab everything. Yeah. Stepped in the water. Trap went off. Away we go. Here's the lever To open that up, we're going to step in the water again. Trap goes off. The number one way you get through these quests in this game is preparation. You either need to know the quest, which is part of why, if you're playing like not a VIP, you have to beat normal mode first, then hard, then elite. It's part of the design. Hard and elite mean you've already played the quest and you're ready to face the same thing with deadlier enemies and deadlier traps for slightly better rewards. This is just where the shrine is. Normal mode means you've never done it before, and so everything is a little bit watered down. So, here's some sockets. This is a very common thing in this game. You're going to pick up things like those crests that we got, and you're going to click them. I mean, they'll automatically go in. You just click these, they go out of your inventory, into the slots. That's it. It's just a gating mechanism to make sure you've done everything in the quest. Sometimes it's kind of a scavenger hunt. You have to figure out where they are. Beat some mini-bosses. Alright, we're going to just left-click everything to death. We got our XP. Get our treasure. There's usually a treasure chest at the end of every dungeon. Grab everything. And instead of... Get out of here. Instead of walking all the way back to the entrance of the quest to leave, we can just click on finish and we'll just teleport out of the quest. This is the equivalent of walking all the way back without having to walk all the way back. And we're going to pop, pew, right back to where we walked in. Here we are. That's the quest we were just in. She was the one who gave us the quest, so we report that, hey, your crypt was full of cultists resurrecting your ancestors, and we killed everything. She goes, oh, wow, hooray, thank you. You get a quest reward. On Korthos, it's all going to be the same items. They're just the tutorial items. This is usually randomly generated stuff, just like from the treasure chest, and you pick one that you want. Right now, we're going to pick... Wow. We can get Constitution +1 at the cost of minus intelligence minus wisdom, or concentration and will save +1. These are both terrible. We're going to take the will save +1 because that means we are 5% less likely to get hit by a spell that uses will. Drag it right in there. Or we can double click it. You can just double click and it'll go in there. I think you can actually just drag it on your body and it'll automatically go to the right slot. Or obviously you drag it to the highlighted slot. Now we have will save +1. What's a will save? When the enemies try to use special attacks or spells against you, it's going to be one of these three categories. Fortitude, which is like poison. You're like, bleh, spit out the poison. Reflex, literally, dodged it. And will, which is like your force of personality, like somebody tries to mind control you and you're like, no, I will not listen. So we got +1 to our will save. So we're slightly more resistant to like vampire charm kind of stuff. Not that that's going to happen. It could matter for stuff like if the enemies try to cast like fear and make us run away. But I think that as a level 1 paladin, we're instantly immune to all fear because paladin. But it's a passive bonus. We'll get better stuff as we go. Boing. Sweet. So this guy says he's got a scroll in this warehouse and he wants us to go get it back. It might help protect the village. Again, I can only go in on normal. So we're supposed to find the hidden scroll. And by hidden, I mean it's literally right in there. We can see it. But we need the key. Boom. Spider dead. This is why I like two-handed characters. You just do a whole boatload of damage when you hit stuff, and you can basically ignore any incoming damage and just plow through. Remember, I'm playing on A, normal mode, and B, I'm solo. So, something that this game does that I've never seen any other MMO do. This game legitimately waters down the enemies if it detects that you're by yourself. Oh look, a silver key was in that barrel. We're going to pick it up. Oh no, a Sahagin. Yet another Sahagin. So we're going to hit him with our smite. Finish him off. Kill that spider. Where did you come from? Oh, you were just living down here. He came through this sewer grate and had a shrine to the Devourer, which is one of the evil gods. Pick up some more random items. Even if you're not going to use the items, you can sell them at the bartender just for some cash. Cash you can use on other little vendors. There's not a whole lot to do with the platinum. You can buy potions in a couple spots. Don't worry too much about money. You're mostly going to just sell it for the sake of clearing inventory space. So, there's the scroll case. It's got a pretty spiffy force field around it. We need to solve this puzzle. This type of puzzle is very common in this game. We need to make the light, starting here, light up all of these obvious, like, circly targets. So you can go just, I want you to go that. You just click, it'll rotate the tile. It's like, okay, go that way, light. Oh, sweet, it went that way. Oh no, if I... Oh, see, you can only enter that one from this other direction. So we have to turn this one, which will then turn these ones. Oh, but we need to keep going, so we'll rotate this one. They're not hard. I kind of like them because they're just neat. Some of them are trapped, so they'll have like negative spaces. Like they'll look like this, but they'll have a trap on them. And you have to like try to navigate the light around those ones to get to the good ones without lighting up the bad ones. I like them. I like this. Again, I've played other MMOs. They don't have puzzles. They're just combat simulators. This game has puzzles. This game has three-dimensional, like you have to jump up and over things. This game has some, like a few little riddles. There's sometimes you have to actually think about what you're doing. There's a lot to this game. So here's your scroll case. We get one of these 3 belts. You always pick the rugged belt. The rugged belt gives you +5 hit points. Like legitimately, just we put that belt on and now our max is 50 instead of 45. Let's see. The next quest is around the corner here. Baldar the Bold. What happened to you? Oh, cultists attacked him. He was trying to protect a crystal in here. So we go to Korthos Hall.
Ahead is the cell where the Caneth crystal is hidden.
So, Eberron lore. A Caneth crystal is basically a giant magic power stone. This is the thing. This is what's keeping the village warm during that freak snowstorm that we just opted out of. So we come in here. There's nobody in here, but soon the cultists are going to come and try to smash it, because if the cultists smash it, basically everybody in the village freezes to death because of the snowstorm. So, 14 cultists left. Ugh, we would get a caster right away. Alright, boom, boom. He's dead. Just gonna go... I cannot hurt the crystal, thankfully. Oh, I saw him spawn, and he's gonna run over there, and he's gonna run straight into my axe. Boom. Boom. This quest is much harder than it looks if you're playing on elite difficulty, because the crystal is so easy to destroy. So it can get one shot on elite difficulty. So you kind of actually need to bring multiple people in here just to have enough damage around here to stop it from getting hit. Or you just come back at like level 10 when you have like a firewall. You can literally set the room on fire and just be like, all right, these level like 1 enemies just instantly die when they spawn. And you just wait for all of them to die. Okay, I have to move to actually kill the caster. Four more? 3 more? 1 more? Where are you at? I am doing fine on... I'm doing everything on normal mode, because that's what you're going to be playing on if you're picking this game up for the first time. If you start getting comfortable with the game, play on hard mode. Hard mode is just, I understand what I'm doing now mode. Elite is, I understand what I'm doing and I want you to challenge me. Reaper is, screw you devs, I am god of this game and I dare you to like thwart me. So don't play on Reaper until you know what you're doing. But, you know, hard mode is easy enough if you get the basic mechanics down. I don't believe there's no chest for this quest unless there's like a bonus boss that sometimes spawns, but that's not usually on normal mode. We got our XP. We leave. And we go get another reward. And this time we get a reward we're going to use for quite a while. We can get... Honestly, all 3 of these are good. Unlike the other ones that there's always a best option, all 3 of these are good. The worst one is Bracers of Assistance. You can cast a little blessing spell on everybody around you for 3 minutes, once per day. Once per, rest shrine. It's fine. Like, if you do the quest on hard, if you turn around and do it on hard to get more XP, your second time through, grab these. Easy. Axebane gives you protection from slashing damage, so you take 4 less damage per hit, roughly. The background math makes it not quite as good as it sounds, but it's still good. Similarly, Spearbane, you take slightly less damage from stabby attacks, and that's what we're going to take. You might think that slashing attacks are more common because we're going to be right up on top of things, but arrows are piercing damage, and it is far more likely that enemies are going to be spamming arrows at you and you ignore them, and now we just don't take damage from low-level arrows. And because we're a Dragonborn, our fire resistance is just going to slowly go up over time, and fire damage is commonly tacked onto arrows, so we'll just not take damage from arrows, just passively. So we're going to go back in the tavern for the capstone quest of Korthos Village. First, I'm going to sell all that crap we picked up, though. I'm going to repair. Add all repair. Just always do that when you go to town. First shop you find, just add all repair. That'll just keep your gear in good enough condition. Alright. Sell gems. Just click it, because the gems are literally useless for anything other than selling. So, small candles and pinches of fine sand. What does 20 arcane-1 mean? That means I have 20 of them. That's the number. Arcane and divine, those are spell components for wizard and cleric. You need those in order to cast your spells. We are neither, so we're going to sell all that. We don't need them. They put the names like that just recently to make them easier for new players. So if you've ever tried to organize your files in like Windows and they're by alphabet normally, and so sometimes I just put like 0 in front of the thing I want to be at the top of the list, and I'll just number them in addition to their names. That's what they're doing here. Arcane and Divine are at the beginning so that they're all sorted next to each other, and then Pinches of Fine Sand and Small Candles, just the flavor text. Good quality of life update, but it does kind of make it a little ugly looking. So, so these are what all of the items that are randomly generated are going to look like. It's going to say plus a number. So this is a +1 because we're very low in the game. A +1 something item type of something else. So plus number, so +1. Anarchic means it does some chaos damage. This is a battle axe, and it also does more damage on a critical hit. This is a vitality, which I think is HP. 2 more HP, heavy shield of light resist. That means resist light. Like if somebody tries to shoot a sunbeam at you, you take a little less damage. Again, very ugly to look at. Like they're not as cool as Glamdring or something like that. They're not cool names. Unless it happens to just come out cool. I mean, they're fine. The reason that they're like this is so that you can look at them and at a glance know what they do, without having to hover over to the tooltip and read the entire thing every single time. Anarchic 1 means you do 1d6 of chaos damage. If this was Anarchic 2, you would do 2d6, etc. So at a glance, I know I'm not going to use Dire Combustive because I know that means I do more fire damage on a crit. Yep. 5% bonus. Oh, bonus 2 crit. I get 5% more chance to critically hit fire spells. Not going to matter to me. Reconstruction 34, not going to matter to me. And I knew that without having to read the description. So it's ugly, but it's practical. It is a good quality of life thing. If you've already played through the game and you understand what all the things do. All you need to look at is the type. So, ring. Everybody can use ring. Do I care about those 2 stats? No, I can throw it away or sell it. Battle axe. I could use it, but that's not exciting. It does way more damage than what I have, but this battle axe is one-handed, so I don't care. I am, however, going to keep this heavy wooden shield. We're going to throw away our battle-worn shield. We can't sell it because it's a starter item. None of the starter stuff you're allowed to sell. And I'm going to lock that shield. See, it went away from the sell window, so I can't accidentally sell it. And that's going to go down where our shield was, because large shields protect you more from traps. So if we need to run through a trap, equip the large shield, and just by having it equipped, we can run through the trap and take less damage. Now, usually we're going to try to dodge traps. But if I screw up and I'm like, oh no, I accidentally triggered this trap and the only way through was to run through, I can put the shield on. If you are playing around Christmas time, you're going to see coins. These are little Christmas coins, or Festival. They're little Christmas coins. You can turn them in for Christmas cookies. I'm not going to throw them away, but I'm not going to probably end up using them. But that's what those are. If you're watching this and you're like, what about those coins he keeps picking up? They're for the holiday event, which is going on right now. All right. The town is kind of figured out there's a traitor in the town. There's too many places that the Sahagin have been breaking in and wrecking the town, and all these cultists keep getting in. So here's the collaborator. Here we have tricked him into coming and revealing himself. Hello, I'm going to kill you. Oh no, he brought cultists, so he's going to run away. We're going to kill his cultist friends by just slapping them with this axe because we're a two-handed paladin. And we're going to slowly wait on them to spawn so that we can go run over here and kill even more of their friends. So you'll note, this is the tavern we were just in. This is just after hours. They just reused the map. I think it is an excellent use of, like, reusing assets. This makes sense. He literally waited in this tavern until after dark to ambush the guy who's been collaborating with the Sahagin and letting him in. So when you get to the halfway point, this chest spawns back here. Yoink. And now we can wait on the final wave. If you're playing on normal mode like I am, almost every class is just gonna slap these guys. You'll notice over time that we're going to do this even on like hard mode, because there's going to be ones we go back on hard mode and even elite. This character is going to end up being very, very fun and very strong, because I already made one on my other account, so I already know it's good. So there was a disguised lever there. It's literally the only thing that's interactable in the room, so it's not exactly hiding. Free treasure chest. I don't know if the innkeeper knows this is down here, or if, like, somehow he didn't notice that there were these caverns that were hidden behind his cellar. I don't know why this is here, but this is like the final little village section of taking out the last of the bad guys. The boss is back here. Actually, I think he's one more hallway down. Yeah, one more hallway down. Weird, scary statue. Hey, you. Remember, you don't do damage unless you physically make contact with your axe. That's one of the reasons that Monk is a little awkward, because you don't punch very far, so you have to, like, get right up on people to hit them. Two-handed weapons, big reach, hit lots of things. Boss is behind that door. So, another streamer pointed this tip out. So this, if you push X, you can bring up your experience report. This is the game telling you ahead of time how much XP you're going to get for your quest. This is how much it normally is. You get a bonus for first time completion, a bonus for running through on hard, a bonus for all sorts of things. Millions of bonuses. One of those bonuses is killing all of the enemies. Also, there's disable traps, find the secret doors, break the barrels. Legitimately, you can get bonus XP for breaking the barrels as you go. If you just smash every barrel you see, you'll get more XP for the quest when you finish it. Don't re-enter the quest. You don't lose your progress if you die and have to go back to the tavern. If you run your butt back to the quest within 5 minutes, some short but not unmanageable amount of time, you keep your progress. You just don't get to keep your 10% bonus. And over time, if you keep coming back in, it'll slowly give you penalties. But you don't lose the progress. Also, deaths. Deaths are separate from having to re-enter, because you could die and run to that shrine and resurrect yourself without having to leave the quest. I do that a lot when I don't know what I'm doing. That's going to happen a lot. But I didn't leave the quest. So, we have a 10% aggression bonus for having killed 20 monsters. All of your XP is locked in the second you complete the quest. He has some friends in his room. Apparently there's one more little section. We're going to kill the other guys and then the boss. So there's him. We run in here. Friends spawn. We're aiming to kill them first. There we go. Now we kill him, and we've got a 15% bonus instead of 10% bonus, because we killed the extra 2 guys. And he always spawns afterwards. So we got an extra 5% XP for killing those other 2 guys first. That's it. That's it. Just kill those 2 guys first. 5% XP. Quest done. Don't forget to get your treasure. And finish. And we are heartbreakingly close to leveling up. 30 XP away. I'm gonna get our reward. Do we get a great sword yet? No. These are older and haven't been updated. So most of these are pretty bad. On everybody who is even somewhat a spellcaster, take the ring. The ring gives you plus 10 mana points. We can't even use them yet, but it's better than just having nothing in that slot. Alright. Nothing to repair. Sell the gems. I don't bother keeping dragon shard fragments. If you collect a lot of them, you can do a very minor old thing with them that I don't think anybody cares about. Just sell them. We're not a wizard, so we don't care about scrolls. If it's there's a couple scrolls that I'll keep, but I'll point them out if I find them. This is just a low-level spell. We don't care. This is more candles. We don't need those. Staunch of Spell Sight. +1 to all 3 of our saving throws, and 2 to Spellcraft. Don't care. It's not as good as not taking damage from arrows. This is an outfit that is like a monk thing. We can wear it. You can wear anything. You can put on basically anything, even if you can't technically use it. But our actual armor is worth more than that. This is a hand axe. It's a one-handed weapon. We don't care. This one, though, we go from go away tip. So, if you read the actual item description, this is medium armor. We can wear up to heavy because we're a paladin. Armor bonus counting our dexterity is 7. Okay. My armor is 6. I know that because I hovered over here and it shows you what you have equipped and what you're looking at. So we're going to go from an armor bonus counting your dexterity from 6 to 7. Armor check doesn't matter. Spell failure doesn't matter because we're a paladin. But we go from having no abilities on our armor to it being a +1 armor, 3 extra spell resistance, so a very small chance to ignore a spell that's cast at us, a non-damage spell. And we take slightly less damage from sound-based spells. Sounds good. We are going to double-click to slowly equip this new armor. Go ahead and close the shop window. There we go. We're not allowed to sell starter stuff, so we just have to throw it away. What are you? Chocolate. That is a Halloween event item that they're doing a repeat right now. Again, gonna ignore it. Because chances are the Halloween event will not be active when you're playing. So, we actually have a new armor model. Our armor gives us actual little boosts. There's my 3 resistance to sonic damage. That's what these are. These are your elemental resistances down here. And there's my 4. It says, so everything after the slash there is what penetrates your damage reduction. So this is 4, except against slash and bludgeon. Which means that it only works against piercing. Weird backwards way of writing it, I know. But that's how it was written in 3rd edition. The game developers just copied it as it was done. So, now that we've defeated the collaborator, we get some new quests. The mayor's daughter and a couple of other villagers have gone missing. We're going to go rescue them. This guy down here says one of their people kidnapped. We're going to go rescue him. And her uncle is missing. We need to go find him. They're all going to be out here in the wilderness. But before we actually start doing that stuff, I want to show you what happens if you repeat a quest. And I'm going to repeat... I know which one I should repeat, but I'm going to do a different one. We're going to repeat the one that we got the belt from, because it's short and easy. So you can click and repeat the Secret of the Storehouse quest. And he'll say the exact same thing he did before, and the door to the quest is now active again. But this time, I'm also going to talk to this guy. Hireling Vendor. Hirelings are one of my favorite things about this game. You can literally hire another character. And the ones you can get right here in the starter area are, there's a barbarian, a cleric, a fighter, and a sorcerer. So I'm going to grab a cleric. What's a cleric? A cleric is a healer. I have a computer-controlled healer that's going to follow behind me. They last for an hour at a time. I'll show you the timer when we get in there. Because I've beaten the quest before, I'm now allowed to click hard mode. Note the level of the quest just went up to level 2. 1, 2, 3, oh god. Gonna go in on hard mode. Hard mode gives us a 50% bonus on top of the 20% for the first time we've been in here on hard mode. Plus we have all the other bonuses that will add up by the time we get to the end. So, I'm going to drag my little cleric down here. Going to summon it. They get their own bar, which I'm going to stick up here. This thing is now on a timer. I have 59 minutes before it expires. It will not kick them out of my party if I am in a dungeon or in a wilderness area and they're active. And it will not tick when you're in town. You legitimately get a minimum of 1 hour. You get a minimum of an hour of their time. And you can buy more than one, but you can't use more than one at a time. Like if I had bought one of each of those 4, I couldn't just line them up and have a full party. Get on it, devs. This is the best part of playing your game solo. Just let me do it. Just let me do it. You can buy gold hirelings in the store, which I'm going to attempt to open and see if it crashes. The store has a little in-game windowy thingy. I can go to hirelings, and they're very cheap, but they are also temporary. I'll tell you right now, if they made these things 10 times as expensive, but they were permanent, and I could just trade them to all my characters, and I could just have an entire menagerie of races and classes of all guys to just make myself a full party to run through the game however I wanted, I would buy every single one of them. I would buy every single one of them. Whether they're good or not, I would play with all of them. Gotta catch them all. I would have all the Pokemon. But they only last an hour at a time, so they are never worth it. Just take the timer off and I will buy them. Anyway, I've used 2 minutes of my hireling, just ranting about hirelings. They get their own bar. They can be on aggressive, defensive, passive. Those all do exactly what they sound like. I'm going to put on aggressive. This is stay put. It will not follow me anymore. Toggle it off. It'll follow me. Foot is, say I leave it behind and I'm like really far in the dungeon. I hit that button. Whoop. It teleports to me. And then they have a use icon. So I can... Let's go kill this spider to get it out of the way real quick. The enemies are on hard mode, so they are actually slightly tougher. If I target something like a door, I can hit the use icon, and they will go use the door for me. Which means I can throw them at traps and stuff. If you don't trust that a door is trapped, send the hireling. It's fine. And then the other 4 are usually class-specific abilities, like she has the Bless spell that she can cast. Hooray, I am now blessed. It'll last for 5 minutes. So for 5 minutes, I'm blessed. It's pretty good, especially at level 1. Well, yeah, level 1. Highly recommend. They are also dirt cheap. Dirt cheap. Especially these ones in the village. They are intended to be affordable. I, 100% of the time, will run around with a hireling. You can have one hireling. So you're probably just going to buy a cleric hireling. And I usually buy 3 or 4 at a time. And in 3 or 4 hours of gaming, I'll go back to the guy who sells them, buy 3 or 4 more of whatever level I am at that time. Let's go ahead and get our light moving. Doop 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 doop. You go like this. We've already done this. Oops. So I'm not gonna go out of my way to go slow. And done. We got a glowy thing when we got that quest done, because we have now leveled up. We have fulfilled all of our bubbles, and we may now go level up. How can you tell? You can't look at the character sheet anymore. But you do get this little thing over here, ready to level. So it'll just remind you, hey, when you want to, you can go level. I'm just going to walk out the front door because it's faster than using finish. I don't want any of his other items, but I am going to take it just so that the game isn't sitting there waiting for me to take it forever. And now we're going to go to level 2. Paladin Trainer. Hello, Paladin Trainer. So we're going to say, yes, I want to be a next level as a Paladin. Look, there's our 1 skill point per level we're going to get, and we're just going to put it in Use Magic Device every single level. That's all we're ever going to see on that screen. And summary screen. You don't get to pick a bunch of stuff every level. Different classes get different things as you go. Level 2 Paladin, you don't get anything special. Level 3 Paladin, you get a feat. We're going to take a boring feat that we need as a prerequisite for something else. It's going to be level 6 before we actually get something sweet when we level up that we select. We do, however, get some passive stuff. We get Lay on Hands. And Religious Lore is a cute thing that the devs sometimes try to reuse, but it doesn't come up that often. It used to be for stuff like... the only place I remember seeing it back in the day was there's a quest that if you have enough religious lore, you can purify an evil altar. And you just had to have enough of them, and you qualified. There's a couple of late game feats and stuff that now count your religion lore, and you get bigger bonuses for it. It's one of the reasons we're Paladin. So it's fine, it's passive, you don't have to think about it. But lay on hands, that was a square. We're going to go in feats. We're going to look at Paladin feats. And we're going to put lay on hands right over here by our potions. What that's going to do is I can push that button once a day and I can heal myself for 48. Because it is a function of my level and my charisma bonus. Let's see. Your Paladin level times your charisma bonus. My charisma bonus is 4. I'm level 2. So that's 8. Based on Paladin level times charisma. So it's 8 times some other hidden number in the background, but my charisma is going to go up high. My Paladin number is going to go up high. Eventually, like, this is functionally a once per day full heal. Like, oh no, full health. Uninterruptible, instant speed, full health. And we can get some bonuses that are going to make that more than once per day. You'll notice over here we also have action points. So this is Dungeons & Dragons Online way of giving you a little bit more to do when you level up. Like I said, we're not actually going to get that much stuff from the actual act of leveling up other than our HP goes up. We get class features occasionally. But we're going to go in here to enhancements. And this should look familiar to anybody who's played an MMO in the last 10 years. This is your class trees. This is Lord of the Rings Online. This is your trait trees. Star Trek Online. This is your captain specializations. World of Warcraft, I think, pioneered trait trees. This is your Diablo class, like your choices. This is the meat and potatoes of your character build. The feats and actually leveling up is your skeleton. That's what you're going to hang all of this on. But this is where most of your abilities are going to come from. You get one of these points to spend every time you fill one of these bubbles right here. So every one level is 1, 2, 3, 4 points for here. And then the 5th one is the actual character level up. So because we're level 2 and we haven't spent any, we have all 4 of the ones we got when we were level 1. Paladin has 3 options to pick from, plus we have one for being a Dragonborn. Every race has their own race enhancements tree. Usually you ignore it. They're really cool. Unfortunately, using them in any practical capacity requires like 100-hour grind. So, most of my characters completely ignore these trees, and the few that use this tree, they have to give up on a bunch of class stuff to do it. So, hooray, thanks for adding this cool system. It's neat, I like it, I wish I could interact with it more, but I'm not going to grind, like, for an entire year per character to get to use this cool stuff in combination with this stuff. So, we're just going to ignore the Dragonborn tree altogether. So, it really doesn't matter. So the other ones, we've got Knight of the Chalice. That is your Holy Avenger, I'm going to smite evil, offensive paladin. Sacred Defender is your defense-based, like, you shall not pass, I am going to stand here and survive no matter what you throw at me kind of abilities. And Vanguard is, I believe, this is the sword and shield tree. This is the I want to have a sword, a shield, and that is my play style. So sword and shield plus defensive goes together just fine. These are great to go together. Super offensive can go with that as well. We're mostly going to just go straight offense, and we might pick up some of the defensive stuff. You end up with 80 points by the time you hit level 20. You need 40 points to qualify for this last huge ability right here. The ones on the bottom row are the core abilities. They give you your biggest boosts. You need 40 points to qualify, and then 1 point to take it, which means you can only ever have one, because that'll be 41 of your 80 points. That's over the halfway point. So you cannot have the main ability from two different ones. Also, you cannot have the top level abilities from two different ones. Most of the time, you're just going to go straight up one tree, grab all the stuff, and then whatever points you have left over, you're going to get some low-hanging fruit from the other two trees. We actually, just in the future, are going to be taking this tree over here. If you use this little list, these are all of the universal ones or other options you could stick in here. We are not allowed to spend any points in here yet because this account does not have it yet. We're going to earn it. This is one of the few that you can just earn instead of having to buy. Now, you earn it by playing a quest chain. You have to buy the quests. So you do still have to spend a little money, but this is one of the main, this is a big expansion. This is one of those, if you're going to play this game, you've got to get like some of these main expansions. And this is comes from the Feydark or the Feywild. It's a great expansion. It should absolutely be one of the first ones you get. And it really doesn't matter if you are a VIP, because if you subscribe to the game, you have access to all of the quests. So this won't be an issue. You can play the game just scraping by on whatever random quests they still count as free. It's very hard and very boring, and you're going to hate the game. Which is one of the reasons that every year for the last couple years, they've put out a little coupon code that you go into the store, you type in the code, and it gives you all the old content for free. They're great codes. I highly recommend keeping an eye out for those. It will usually be like on the splash screen of when you start the game, it'll say, hey, by the way, boom, free questing code. Some of the players are pushing for that to just be a permanent thing because I don't think they're really making any money off of the old stuff anyway. I don't know. But anyway, this game is free to play in spirit. I haven't paid anything for this account in a while. It's there. Like, this is why I like free-to-play games. I can just come back, and this account is still here. All my stuff is still here. I can pick it up whenever I want, and I didn't have to pay for the months I wasn't playing it. I love that. If I'm going to actively be playing it, just subscribe, even if it's just for a month. It's only $15. All right. In terms of actually leveling up, we're going to go ahead and pick this first ability. Boom, Slayer of Evil. When using a favored weapon, you do an extra d6 of light damage. So every hit, you do more damage. We don't actually have a favored weapon yet. I think that our religion is you get long swords as a favored weapon. So if I find a long sword, I can actually activate and use this ability. Eventually, there we go. Gain great swords as a favored weapon. That's what we're going for. We get that at Paladin level 3 after having spent 10 points in the tree. So we're going to go straight up the tree to get that. Let's see. Hitting bonus to attack and damage with favored weapons. That's pretty good. It does cost 2 points, though, for only 1 attack and 1 damage. It's probably still fine. Attack means accuracy. It's your likelihood to hit the target at all. And that is after you have physically made contact with your weapon. It will then roll a dice to see if you actually did any damage. And damage is damage. This is more smite evils, so we go +2, so we go from 1 to 3 just for 1 point. That's pretty good. Bonus strike through chance. That is our whole shtick. That is our whole shtick with two-handed weapons is strike through. That's your % chance to hit more than one guy at a time. So right now we're probably at like 20%, so 1 in 5 swings hits a second guy that's in range. You can get that to 100%. Bam! Always hitting 2 guys every swing. And you can keep going. 200%, you're always hitting 3 guys. Like, it just keeps going. There's no cap. You can just always be hitting multiple guys every single swing. It's great, and that's what I think we're going to spend our points on. We're not using Sunder, so I don't care about Sunder DCs. DC is difficulty check. It just makes it harder for the opponent to resist your Sunder attack, but we're not using Sunder. +2 intimidate, diplomacy, concentration. Those are skills I could be clicking on, but I don't bother. So we're not going to. I think what we're going to do is we're going to go grab that +1 to... No, we're going to go strike through, strike through, strike through. Oh, so I had to spend 1 to start the tree, and then all 3 of those. Accept. So now we go into our enhancement tab. There's our second strikes, and here's our new active. I know that it's not actually usable yet, but I'm going to stick it over here in the corner, and I'm going to turn it on, because this is just a toggle. It's going to stay on for the rest of the game. And eventually it will start mattering, because we'll either find a weapon that's our favorite type, or... Yeah, we're going to. We're going to find a weapon that's our favorite type. That's what's going to happen. I'm going to go sell. And then I'm going to go take a stretch break. We've made it to level 2. We've done a lot of expositional dump. But this is the beginning of an MMO. Like, this is the beginning of Dungeons and Dragons. Honestly, they've done a really good job of translating the pen and paper Dungeons and Dragons. Pretty much everything we've done in the skills, in the feats, in the character creation, that's Dungeons and Dragons. Like, dang near 1-for-1 translation. Like, as close as you can get for an MMO active thing. Like, it's amazingly close. The enhancement trees. This is an MMO edition. This is your guy kind of levels up a little too slowly and you don't get quite as many benefits and it's not as flashy as Dungeons and Dragons. So they added a bunch of stuff over here. Which is fine. It's more cool stuff. More cool stuff for us to do. And with that, we've spent all of our points. And now we are ready to head out into the wilderness. And we're going to do Korthos wilderness quests. Alright, I was going to do this off screen, but I thought maybe somebody would want to know how to do this. I like my screen to be set up a certain way. I prefer my map to be over there. And when I hit M for big map that I can like drag around and zoom in. Sometimes zoom in. I like the map on the left side. But now all my buffs and everything are covered. So I'm going to go into options, UI settings. That was the escape key brings up this menu. So options, UI, in somewhere on this thing, if I scroll far enough, justify effect icons to screen left, they added this for some reason. They forced it to always be left. Uncheck it, and now they are on the right side where God intended. I'm just used to it being over there. That's where I want it. I also want this to be higher. That's just literally drag and drop. Most of the things on the screen are drag and drop. It is amazing how often I will play a game and it's not drag and drop, and you have to like find some button combination. I'm like, man, Dungeons and Dragons Online is super old, but I can at least just drag and drop my screen elements where I want them. There's a lot of cool little things. You can change the colors of every single thing. Like all of the numbers that come off enemies, you can tell what different things are. The other one that I like here is hide guild buffs. We don't actually have any guild buffs right now, but instead of having like 10 different icons, it'll squish it down to one. So you still have one icon. So you still know if your buffs are, online or expired. But I like that one. I hide guild renown chat feedback because if you have a guild, every couple kills you get, you're going to go, bing, here's some guild renown for killing a thing. Your guild gets slightly more famous because you killed 20 rats. And it's going to fill your chat log. So I turn it off. And there's one more that I like in here. If you have a pet, I like showing the pet stuff. Where are you? I think it's closer to the top. Show cooldowns in shortcut bars. So now when I trip, it's got a number in there. I don't know if you can read that, but now it said 15 seconds, and I can see exactly how long until my ability is ready, rather than just waiting on the little clock thingy to run all the way through. And then if you want to get fancy, when we're in combat, there's a little D20 over here that shows you what you rolled for that attack. There's actually quite a few options on what you want that D20 to look like. And that's right here on combat dice. I'm going to go ruby red. Is that what I want? I'm a red dragonborn. Yeah, we're going to go ruby red. Hey. Yeah, ruby red. Close that. You can't actually see it till I actually swing at something in combat, unfortunately. I do wish I had a button that would trigger it right now to show it off, but weird little echo there. All right, wilderness areas. This is where the rest of these quests are. Not every quest chain has a wilderness area. Most of the time you're just going to sprint through them, but they have a couple cute little things about them. For one thing, they're only ever normal difficulty. There are no difficulty settings for a wilderness area. This is literally just outside Korthos Island, or outside Korthos Village, on the rest of the island. You can bring your hireling. I'm going to set her on aggressive now. If entered a combat area, be prepared. Move you up again. So, the only quests you're going to see are Slayer, Rare Encounters, Explorer. Slayer is when you hit that many kills, and it's over your character's lifetime, not this jaunt. You get XP, but you only get XP when you hit the milestones, and that milestone is going to keep going up. Rare Encounters. There are 3 named bosses out here, and they are worth a bonus pile of XP if you get all 3 of them. There's also a quest right here. he says something weird going on, and that, the Sahagin are messing with this thing that's mysteriously frozen. Something weird. Better check it out. We will. This is also one of your jumping tutorials. Geronimo! You take no damage if you land in water. Whack, whack. Alright, cleared those guys out. We are now at 3 of 10 slain. When we leave the quest, we'll be right here. It'll still be 3 of 10. That will not reset unless we reset our character. We have 1 explorer. There are 12 landmarks. We get a little bit of XP for each one we find, and then a bigger chunk if we find all of them. And, looking at our map, we can see the doors for the quests, but nothing else except for what we've been on. If you get all of the explorers, it auto-fills out the map for you, which is pretty cool. I usually try to kind of zig my way through the map to hit the landmarks, just to have the map. Stopping the Sahagin. Doop doop doop. So, lots of ice in here. All we know is that the Sahagin are in here, and there's something weird going on. So you see that gong right there? That's legitimately a gong. He rings the gong, and he summons more guys to come fight you. If you are a ranged combat type character and you kill him before he rings the gong, you don't have to fight the extra guys. This is going to be a common thing for kobolds. They all have warning gongs. Sometimes hobgoblins have them. There's usually enemies hiding around corners and stuff. So, 2 paths. This is also going to happen a lot. Sometimes you're going to have to pick a path. This is Dungeons and Dragons. This is not, Lord of the Rings. You have to follow one specific path. This is not Star Trek where every path ends up in the same place. Technically, this one does end up in the same place. You can go either direction. However, I already know flipping the lever to go this way is better. There is a trap in the other one that I cannot disarm because I am not a thief. This one is an ambush, and I am ambush capable. I can very easily kill what? That was one whole guy? Yeah. Kill one guy, move on. Snoring. We'll get a better look at that in a moment. Kill a guy. Oh look, a lever with a colorful thingy. This probably means something. Do not run in front of big scary mouth thing. That is a ice breath type dragon breath thing. Go around. And look at that, a ladder going down into the ice. I don't think this ice is supposed to be here. And we've seen these before. This is the Sahagin's little shrine to the Devourer. So when we flip this other valve, this door opens. And what's this? It was a Wizard of Oz style false front. We can literally close this door and turn off the trap. And then this valve would actually open this door from the other side, I think is what it does. Just like this valve opens that side. And we are going to ring the gong. Ding! You hear a bunch of vibrations. The puzzle solution is you do it again. So, we break the ice. And we already know we don't take falling damage if we jump in the water. And then spacebar to go straight up out of water. And then again, we're going to kill a guy and flip a lever. Dungeons and Dragons Online is really big on symmetry. There's often pairs of levers that just make you have to go both ways. As a solo player, it kind of annoys me sometimes. But if you're playing with a group, obviously you just split up and grab them. Oops. So we're going to aim our camera down and swim underwater into the door we just opened. If you go straight forward, you'll climb that ladder and it'll help you go back up. I prefer to just hit spacebar because it's faster. I'm going to hit the foot icon to force my hireling to me because it's not smart enough to do that swim. Alright. Smite. Yeah, I missed. Okay. So, as you may have noticed, this is running water. Water doesn't hurt you. It's water. However, it does slow you down if you're trying to walk up this thing against the water. Over there is the boss of the quest. It's a giant ice spider. It's a ranged attacker, and it is way up there on the other side of more water. That's going to be a big pain in the butt for us to run up there and hit it. Plus, I already know that there's a trap up there. I don't have any boots, so I'm going to go ahead and put on these boots I just found. Jump and tumble. I jump slightly higher now, and I take slightly less damage from falling. Otherwise, it doesn't really do anything. Just going to stack my items a little better. So what I'm going to do, if you have a bow and arrow that you may have just picked up somewhere, or a throwing knife, or say a hireling with a long-range ranged attack, like Nimbus of Light. Oh, come on, you can go. I choose you. Attack. You can get the thing's attention and then just back up and make it come to you. Go. Get its attention. Fire a laser at it. Fire a laser at it. Fire a laser at it. There we go. Cause fear? Oh, remove fear. When in doubt, you can always just run up and get its attention yourself. There we go. I think now we have its attention. Now we can just go run back around the corner and force it to come to us. If you're smarter than me, you brought a ranged weapon of some kind and you just go plink and then run around the corner. I'm just going to wait here for him to come to me. Are you really... Is this a normal mode thing that you're just not aggressive enough? Get over here. Come here. Come here. I don't want to stand over there. I want you to come stand over here. Because you can see there's ice traps behind him. Now he's far enough forward that we can squish him. There we go. And dead. Alright, I'm going to tell the hireling to hold still. We need to disable this trap. So I'm going to wait for it to go off, then run past. We can see it's another one of these lighty up puzzle things. The trap is going off because this is lit. I can turn these, and now those are off, and the trap should no longer be blowing. Looks good. More importantly, what is that? What that is, they never actually say. There is a humongous monster down here that some ancient civilization put it down here and then trapped it. Our goal here is actually to redirect that ice trap to that side and refreeze whatever that is. So we're going to play with our little buttons here in a neat little 3D light puzzle. And then we do the other side. Doop, 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 doop. Now, whatever that thing was, it's back to being frozen. So, why is there an ice machine here keeping whatever that is frozen? We never find out. Now, most of these are ancient giantish devices. So, in Eberron lore, the giants were the main old race. Like, if you look at, like, Lord of the Rings, like, the elves are, like, the ancient race that are kind of fading into the background. In Eberron, the giants, like, giants, were the old race that are fading into the background. Like, their civilization was the one that got destroyed, and they're just kind of outliers now. I will tell you, that character model that they have back there is a scrag. That is the watery-based troll. Like, I recognize the character model, but it's humongous. So it's basically a humongous water troll. That would be a pretty scary thing for an island, because it could live in the water. It's probably immortal, because it's a giant troll. So they probably froze it, because how else are they going to kill it? That thing might be immortal. And the people who could fight it aren't around anymore. So hooray, we just saved the village. And if we finish exterminating the Sahagin, nobody is going to be around to turn this thing back off. And we should probably maybe stick a guard on here, so it's not just a sewer grate in the middle of nowhere that anybody can mess with. And maybe turn the traps on that I turned off on my way here. Here we go. 3 out of 10 still. Let's go get some more explorers, and maybe we'll get some rares on our way to the next quest. And we'll definitely get the first wave of that. We're going to get 10 Slayer easy. You move slower in water, so I spam the jump button so that I'm technically in the air and not slowed down. It only speeds you up a little bit, but you're going to walk in water for all of 4 seconds before you go, oh god, how do I speed this up? This is an explorer. So this is a landmark. They have hollowed out this, or, well, I don't know if they hollowed it out, but there is a hollow tree with a shrine that they turned into a shrine for the Devourer, and now it's a shrine to the Sovereign Host, because I killed them and it's mine now. And that's how that works. Might makes right. That's the Paladin way. Boing. See, we already got our Slayer. I didn't even notice it. XP report says that 10 guys was worth 85 XP. 10 more guys will get a bigger XP bump. But notice it went from 10 to 25, and it's just going to keep getting further and further. Here's another explorer. This is also where one of the rares spawn, but he is not here. So, we did not get that guy, and it's not worth... If you're a super completionist and you just want to have everything in your adventure compendium filled out and nice and happy and green all across the board, you can just exit and re-enter, like reset it, and just come back, and it'll re-roll all of the odds for everything. You have to actually hit the reset button. There's legitimately a reset button, and it'll respawn all the enemies and re-roll the chance for the rares. And you can just keep doing it over and over again until they spawn. It's just not worth enough XP to be worth it, and they don't drop items that I care about, so we're not going to do it. Good. beat these guys up because they're sacrificing guys to make zombies. And if you've seen any horror movie, you know that's a bad idea. Let's see. Quest number... Oh, we passed a quest. I always do that. Quest number 1 that you jump down to means you actually accidentally walk past quest number 2 unless you loop back, and I went slightly too forward. We want that one. Although we're really close to that one. But we want to go this way. And this is an explorer while we're on our way up here anyway. So we're going to hit this guy. This is another one of those little shrines. Landmark doesn't always mean something cool like a sweet mountain. It sometimes just means a point of interest. And now, I'm going to look at my map. We want to be going that way. Yeah, I probably wanted to go off the other side. Oh well. You move a little bit slow in this game. Movement speed is a character stat. It goes up a little bit as you level, kind of. Oh, monk goes up as you level. Your attack speed, like how fast I swing that weapon, that goes up as you level. Automatically. You know, if you're a fighter class. Fighter, paladin, barbarian, anything that swings weapons, you get more swings faster the higher level you get. Up to level... I think it stops scaling at level 20. But I think I read that they smoothed that out so you actually get it more regularly across the levels now. Here's level 2 right up here. The quests also count as explorer points. Other ways to go faster. Get a horse. Do I have a horse? I do have a horse. I'm not going to activate it, but there's lots of ways to get horses. Keep on the Borderlands. The other tutorial area is where you get your basic horse. So we will be doing that. At least I will show you how to do it. I'm not going to bother grinding it out because I already have it. But just do what I do, just 20 times instead of 1 time, and you get a horse. When we get there. Or you can go straight there. You can just skip to that video. Every area is going to be its own video. So you can skip straight to the Keep on the Borderlands video and watch that one. You can also be faster by getting items that literally just say you run faster, which is how most people do it. Okay, this is a trap. Shocking, I know. It's a trap. It just killed that bad guy, because bad guys are not immune to traps. This trap, you can literally Doctor Who your way through it and just step between the blades. I didn't quite get the timing right, but I only took 1 hit instead of 3. Hello, puppy. Puppy. Oh, I wanted to run through the trap. Down and up. Down and up. And I took no damage. If you're a rogue, there's a lever you can search for to turn the trap off. If you are a robot or you are otherwise better at resisting poison, you can run the other way, and it's a poison trap instead of a blade trap. Playing a Warforged, you're immune to poison, so you can just run through there for free. These traps are fairly common. Traps like this are all over this game, and you are intended to be able to duck through them. If I was smart, I would have actually put that shield on, because that's the whole reason I have the shield. You put the shield on, and then you run through the trap. And then you put back your other weapon. That's why you have the shield. I forget. Kerthunk. So, this is the quest where we have to find that girl's uncle. He is a mage, and I believe that he was on the trail of figuring out what was wrong, like what the Sahagin were up to when he went missing. And she is afraid that the Sahagin have caught up to him and killed him. So we keep finding all of these robot dogs. Right? That is not the kind of enemy we've been fighting. There's also three of those Cannith crystals here powering something. Plus they're being protected by these ice traps. I believe technically that's the cooling system. So we are going to run through this tube, turn off, or open the door is what this is. I'm going to tell her to stay behind because she's too stupid not to run into the traps. There's a bunch of valves here, which I'm going to find by using Q to target the nearest item, and then E to use it. I'm not even on the same side. I did that from through the pipe. Let's see. There's two more here. You have to get a little closer. What else we got? Got any more? Should be one more. Ah, the ones way out front. The obvious ones. And now, wait for the trap to finish turning off. Now you can walk up and break these things, and whatever they were powering turned off. Now my hireling can actually follow me. You notice the lights went out. We just smashed the power generator. There's an extra little fight in there if you can pick a lock. It's not... I mean, it's a minor treasure chest. It's there if you want to. I can't pick the lock, so I'm not going to go in there. This had a force field in front of it. Now it doesn't.
Who in the flame are you?
Oh, look. Here's the guy we went to go find. Oops. Turns out all of the robot dogs were his, and the force field was his, and it was what was protecting him from the fishmen. Oops. So now we have to protect him. Couple waves of bad guys. He can die. He can die. You can fail this quest. You can absolutely fail this quest if you don't kill the bad guys fast enough, or if you're playing on Elite and they get a lucky swing in. You can fail this quest. He has his own bodyguard, plus I have my hireling, plus he fights back. He's not just going to stand there going, "Ah, help me!" He fights back, for better or worse. Honestly, it would be easier if he stood in the back where he couldn't die. Doop 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 doop. So, we need him. He is the one who figured out what the Sahagin are actually doing. He knows how to stop them, and that's why they're trying to kill him. So we're saving the guy who's actually going to point us in the direction of actually saving this island. That's why we're here. I think there's, what, one more wave? Notice how we are already hitting multiple guys at the same time, even though we're only level 2. Our level 2 strike through is already enough that we're kind of getting some AoE damage just by holding left mouse button. That strike through also counts for your smites and stuff. So I might get like an extra smite. I could smite 2 things at once instead of 1. Maybe even 3 things. Alright. We talk to him, and he says, "Fine, I'll go back to the village and I'll help figure out what we're going to do." Alright. Ooh, a new great axe. So, we've convinced the crotchety old guy to help. He's got a plan. He says, "Meet us at the base of Misery's Peak." We're not ready for that yet. That's the capstone quest. That's the one we're going to end Korthos Island. there are still some missing villagers to save before they get sacrificed to turn into zombies, which is what we've already seen these guys doing. And that is right there. But that's quest number 4. We still have quest number 3 to do. Does it matter what order you do these quests? No. You can do them in whatever order. You can even do them multiple times if you want. If you want to try again on hard for more XP, more treasure. Go back for elite. Test your metal. I wouldn't do it because we're super low level. I am going to switch over to this new axe we picked up, though. We go from 1 bonus fire damage to it's a +1 axe, so it already is +1 attack, +1 damage. And it has an extra d6 chaos damage. Oh, dang it. We can't use... Well, we can use it. Oh, we would get a chaos weapon. Oh, well. Paladins are lawful good. There is no choice. You're just locked into lawful good. In 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, alignment doesn't mean anything. You can be whatever you want. In older editions, certain classes were locked to certain alignments. So a barbarian is always chaotic. Why would you be a lawful barbarian? Or a bard? Or a rogue? Why would you be a thief and lawful? Not all of these classes actually have locks to them, but specifically, Paladin has to be lawful good. Monk can get away with being neutral, but it's still lawful neutral. So there's a couple classes that have to be lawful. There's a couple that have to be chaotic, which means you cannot even multi-class them together because you can't be both at the same time. Doop de doop doop. Straight down the hallway. All we're really doing is trying to spot, well, kill some bats. But spot these levers that are kind of hard to find. Again, use Q. Q is your friend. Q is going to highlight all interactable objects. Just keep pushing Q and it'll tell you what everything is. Oh, frozen people. Frozen people who are now zombies. And there, not that you can really see her, there's the lady that we were sent to go rescue. She's behind that force field. Well, let's start our healing potions. Let's go see if we can save her. There's some skeletons that spawn there. There's some spooky museum displays. And a necromancer. It's a Sahagin with a red name. Red name means it's stronger. If anybody ever has a proper name, it's not just, Sahagin. It actually is a weird string of letters that they call a name. They're stronger, and they are often immune to things like stun and trip, because they don't want you to just walk in and insta-win the boss fight by tripping him and he's helpless. Oh no, a trap. I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me. And another name. Oh, I mean, he's an orange name. Stronger, but still generic enough that you can stun him. Cast Hold Monster or whatever and take him out of the fight. I'll take this guy out of his misery. So now that we've hit both levers, the force field is gone. Oh no, there's something behind us. I think I got ahead of the quest. Jacoby Drexelhand? It cannot be. This is the guy. This is the collaborator. This is the guy that we killed before we left town. He has been raised as a powerful undead by the bad guys. And now he's dead again. He drops the key, and we talk to her, and she's free. We can only get the treasure chest if we can pick this lock, and I cannot pick this lock, so we're done. So if you read what the guy said, he said she was attacked by something and drug off out of town. Drexel Hand was raised almost immediately by, like, remaining necromantic Sahagin. Now he's dead again. Like, that's going to happen a couple times in this game, that, like, characters will come back. And does it matter if you remember them or not? No. But it's cool if you do. If you do recognize them, you go, oh, I see what they did there. That was part of his pact, was, you know, in exchange for helping them, he got to be brought back if he was killed. Either that or it was a punishment for his failure that he was brought back as an undead. Doop, doop, doop. Actually, I do want to cross this bridge. We could have just walked up the other bank, but doesn't really matter. So you see those misses over my head? That is, somebody is attacking me and failing to hit me because my armor is too good. Dungeons and Dragons style, they have to roll the dice and beat your armor class, and my armor class is 18. So if they roll their die and add their accuracy bonus and it is not 18 or higher, I do not take damage. And that is also assuming that they are close enough to physically, it was the rat that was doing it, it still has to close the distance and complete its bite animation while I am still within range to even get to roll its dice. Ranged characters are at a huge advantage in this game, in that you basically have infinity armor if you're too far away for the thing to attack you. If I had a bow, I could just run backwards across this entire island, shooting arrows forward, and just kind of running in circles. This is called kiting, because you're flying the enemy like a kite. You just run backwards shooting your bow, and you can kill 99% of the enemies in the game. Now, keep in mind, ranged enemies aren't going to care. They're going to lead their shot, and they're going to hit you even if you're moving. Because the computer kind of cheats, and it knows which way you're shooting, or it knows which way you're going. Whack. This is an explorer right here, and because I have terrible feather fall, or terrible tumble, I don't want to just take the damage jumping off, so we're going to walk down the ramp. Suppose I could have jumped in the water. That would have counted. And another 100 XP for finding another landmark. Kill this ice spider while we're at it. And kill another Sahagin. We're up to having to kill 100 before we get any more. We're probably not going to get there. This is where another rare encounter is. It is not here. We're over 3. Oh, I forgot to mention it, but that when we left the most recent quest, that little ice valley, or the little river valley on our way out of that quest, is where the other rare guy spawns. So, 0 for 3. That's fine. If you click on it, it'll say unknown. But if you click on Explorer, it'll tell you which ones you're missing. We are missing the Aqueduct and Misery's Peak, which are 2 quests. We can't miss those. We are missing the Adventurer's Camp and the Dilapidated Aqueduct. So the Adventurer's Camp is right over here. We would have walked past it anyway, but I'm thinking about it now. Oh, look, a tent. There's a vendor. I could sell my stuff to him. I can repair. Get out of my way. Repair. Sell my gems. Go sell that axe that I'm not going to use. It's better than my axe, but Because I have to be lawful, I forgot to finish my thought earlier. Because I'm lawful and the axe itself is chaotic, I take a negative level as long as I'm wielding it. Here's the aqueduct. So there's the quest we just left. We are above it. In this ancient Roman aqueduct looking thing. It's ancient, it's broken, but it's a cool landmark. And there's where the second rare would spawn, is down there in the little icy water on the way out. So now we're at 10 out of 12. The only two things left are the two quest entrances, so we are guaranteed 12 out of 12. Long as we do the quests, which we're doing now. Doop, 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 doop. I already regret not being on the horse. We're just gonna put you right there. Kill this guy. There's another shrine, which we're not going to bother using. Couple more. I think it's some rats in here. We don't have to kill everything, but just it doesn't take any time. There's our explorer, and here we go. Down into the depths of an ancient aqueduct. This one's a little longer than the other quests. Not a lot longer, but there's a little more meat to it. You might be thinking, man, these quests are really short. Are all quests this short? No, these are the tutorial quests. This is getting your feet wet. Some of the quests in the later game are really long, like hour long each, unless you know where you're going. One of them I've spent like 2 hours in just doing one quest, but that's kind of the exception. Most quests are aimed to be in the 20-minute range. You know, triple that if it's your first time through and you're like taking your time and exploring. But eventually you're just going to be autopiloting through this kind of stuff. So we're going to flip some levers, and that's going to open some doors, and by flipping each lever we have opened this, and we are freeing the villagers that have gone missing. All we have to do is talk to them and they will run away. You do need to jump that corner. There's no ladder, there's no help. You have to jump that corner. All of them can do it, so can you. Jump. Sometimes a named guy will spawn over there with an extra treasure chest, but it's random. There is a shrine behind a door down there. Right there. We are going to try to jump on these rafters, because there is an extra thing to kill if you can successfully run along the rafters. Which is another awesome thing this game does, is there's like hidden stuff like everywhere. So we jump over here and a skeleton mage appears, and I trip him, he falls down, and I stomp on his skull until it cracks. Go me. Because remember, that trip, every melee character starts with that trip ability, and you can just spam it as much as you want. The save is 13, which is really low, but if you're in the tutorial area, nothing's going to save against it, and it doesn't cost you anything to just push the button. Sometimes things will fall down. I got a free kill because I hit that button. I've taken a little damage because I jumped off that ledge for one thing, so I'm going to target myself. And I'm going to click this heal button on my hireling. Oh, look. I'm at full health. I'm going to put my shield on because I know that there's some traps up here. Look, there they are. Even me weaving back and forth randomly, the trap didn't hit me. I'm pretty sure if you just walk on this side, the trap will activate. This is a spike trap. As long as I don't stand on where the spikes are popping out, I can just walk straight through there. Just don't step on the obvious spiky part. Like, it really works. You can just walk through the middle of traps as long as you're not physically where the mechanical trap is. That big old blade trap is on that side, so I'm just going to hug this side, and we're through. And now we got some bad guys. Oh no, we hear a woman's plaintive cry for help. I don't know what plaintive means. Like, I kind of grok its meaning. I get the connotation, but I don't know the denotation. I don't know what it literally means. And dead. And here's the rest of the villagers. Do not click the rope. It will take you out of the quest. Like, it's supposed to be a nice little shortcut to help you get out faster, but they don't make it so you can't hit it until the quest is over. You can accidentally walk out. Alright, we have completed the quest. We found the mayor's daughter. You still get bonus XP for saving everybody else. Not a lot, but, you know, it's there as an optional objective. Let's save everybody. So, we saved everybody, but we didn't kill the kidnapper. The kidnapper is actually down here. And sometimes the mayor's daughter is down here about to be sacrificed. She spawned up in the prisoner cells this time, but sometimes she spawns down here. Oh man, and he's not even a true boss. Like, I tripped him and he died for free. Alright, now we are done. One quest left in Korthos. So we're gonna go turn in our quests. So we're just gonna recall again, and that's gonna take us back to Korthos. Hey, I found your uncle. Cool. I'm going to take Feather Cloak. What's a Feather Cloak? Not only does it look like a cloak made of feathers, but I'm going to drag it down here to my bar, and it's going to cast Feather Fall when I click on it. So I will have... I'm just going to do it right now. For 30 seconds, I fall very slowly and gently. What does that mean? It means I don't die if I fall off a cliff, as long as I push that button before I hit the ground. Or, more practically, if I'm going to jump off of a cliff, I push that button and I float down whatever I jumped off. It's going to be relevant in the next quest, because I'm absolutely going to use it. Hey, I found that lady you were talking about. He gives, so you can either... goggles that cast Bless, so for 5 minutes, your entire team, as long as they're grouped up when you use it, gets +1 attack. Or, you just passively get +1 attack. Forever, passively. Or you get Search and Disabled Device, which, if you're a rogue, maybe you take it, but no, you take the forever +1 accuracy. You slap those goggles on your face, and you don't take them off for like 10 levels. They're just that good. Like, it used to not even come off then. I think that they have better stuff that drops in treasure now than they used to. But for a long time, you just left those on. And you always grab Anger's Step. Why Anger's Step? We're going to immediately switch that and put it on the boots. This gives us 5 minutes at a time of running faster. So twice a day, I can get 5 minutes of increased movement speed on any class. You don't have to be a wizard or a bard or anything. You just get increased movement speed for free by taking those boots and putting them on your bar, and you click them. What do you do if you want more charges? Well, you either rest at a shrine in a quest, you finish a quest, gives you a free refresh of everything, or you just go stand in the tavern, and after like 30 seconds, your stuff pops back. Look, my stuff will probably be back before I'm even done taking this drink. Come on, come back faster so I look better about that. Yeah, just sit around in the tavern. Your stuff will come back for free. I'm going to sell my... I don't think I have anything left to sell, do I? Oh, I do. Cool. Sell gems. Potion of Resist Sonic. It's not a Oh, there's... I got my charges back. It's not a terrible idea to carry potions of Resist Energy. So this one's Resist Sonic. There's also potions of Resist Fire, Resist Acid, blah, blah, blah. They're good. If you've got the cash, you can, when you're in the real town, not this town, but when you're in Stormreach, you can just buy stacks of these and just chug them as you need them. I don't have a lot of money because this is a brand new character and I'm trying not to transfer things from old characters. So, I mean, I'm just going to sell it because I'm not worried about dying. Like, if I really need one, I'll go buy the ones I need. As a Paladin, we also will gain the ability to cast our own temporary versions of those buffs anyway, before we actually need the game version or the potion versions anyway. So it's not a big deal. Not worried about it in the slightest. We can't use scrolls. We have better boots. We're not going to use a light mace. Half plate, huh? We get a constitution, and these bonuses are very low and they pretty much don't matter, but we do get one more armor class, so we are 5% less likely to take a hit at this level. So we swap to that one, sell the old armor. We have yet another new armor skin, and this one is weird looking. So the red here is my Dragonborn color. I don't know if I like it or not, but I appreciate the effort they went into trying to make that one colorful. Oh, I guess I should address this, huh? There's a quest I'm not doing. This lady wants Old Sully's Grog, which you buy in the DDO store. This is your tutorial on how to do the store. They give you 10 points. You're supposed to spend the 10 points on the grog and give it to her to finish the quest. It does not count as a quest in the quest list, so I am not going to do it. The first time you walk through here, take the quest. She'll give you the points. Walk away. It will not do it for every character. You cannot just keep making characters. It's a one per account thing. It would be too easy to sit there and farm free points. Funny, but no. Bertram Sharpwood. Oh, this is the guy you're supposed to turn in the grog to. We're not doing that. You'll notice we haven't got a new quest. We turned in our quests, but we didn't get a new quest. The guy's actually standing outside of town. We talk to this guy, and he says, "Oh yeah, I was working with Lars the whole time, but I didn't trust you yet." Now, he points you towards Misery's Peak. Also, we did this quest, but we did not walk up the cliff to get our reward. We're going to get it now. Do we want Intimidate and Haggle? Another will save? Concentration and Tumble? Or Concentration and Diplomacy? We're going to take the Straw Hat. It doesn't show up on Dragonborn, but it looks funny on most characters. The more monstrous races, they don't always have everything visible on their character model. Dragonborn and I believe the Tabaxi have just like weird head shapes, and so hats don't show up on them and goggles won't show up on them. Hey, these guys are a little squirrely today. Also, you'll note you can see my feet, my big old dragon claw feet. So, armor will not show on my feet. It'll just always be my feet. Alright, I am done fighting every single enemy as we go by. So I'm going to activate my horse and run faster. Feel free to kill all the enemies as you run by. I just want to get through the area. You cannot fight while on horseback. You just move faster. And if you take any non-negligible amount of damage, it will knock you off your horse. So it's really just for sprinting past everything. There's Emelgam. That's the guy Lars actually told us to talk to start the quest for Misery's Peak. And Misery's Peak itself is up this little snowy path right up here. These orange symbols are what denote a quest entrance. So there was our 100 XP for finding the landmark and 300 for getting all 12. Not a lot, but it is the first area. Ooh, a dragon. Remember why we're here? A dragon knocked our boat around.
You're here. Come. There isn't much time.
So, turns out, the reason that dragon attacked us, the reason that there's a snowstorm, it's a white dragon, an ice-based dragon. It's being mind-controlled by the cult leader for the Sahagin. Normally, not possible. It's normally not possible to mind control a dragon. Especially a mind flayer. It's not strong enough to mind control a dragon. But it found an ancient artifact that is amplifying its power. So what we're doing, we are going one way, trying to look for the artifact. While that other team, Jeets, Talburn, and Calamus, whatever her name is, the ones from the very first intro dungeon, they're running the other direction. So they are trying to distract the dragon, because they are way higher level than you. They're distracting the dragon so that you can sneak in and destroy the crystal, and that'll free the dragon. White dragons are generally... Ooh, starter healing potions. Okay, so in Faerun, the normal Dungeons and Dragons campaign area, white dragons are kind of the dumb feral dragons, so you'd be forgiven for thinking that the dragon is just like territorial and a jerk. Oh, we can activate our movement speed. But in Eberron, almost every dragon, like their coloring really doesn't matter so much. They are all of the draconic race. They've got their own council and everything. The dragons are one of the most powerful factions in Eberron. And they, for plot reasons, do not interfere with world events. Because if they do, the world ends. Like, literally, the world will end if the dragons get too agitated. So usually the dragons only intervene when another dragon starts screwing things up, and they're like, oh god, we have to stop that dragon somehow. or the world ends. Legitimately, the world ends if the dragons go to war. A declaration of war is almost enough to end the world. So most of the time, an individual dragon like this is pretty chill. On Eberron. Whole bunch of zombies. Was that the last one? Good. We're just stepping on runes to open doors. You can kind of follow the light beams, and they'll tell you what door opened when you step on them. There are 2 levers we need to flip. There's one. Now we need to climb a little bit higher and get the second one. Oh. I like to kill I like to kill everything as I see it for 2 reasons. 3 reasons. 1, I don't want them nipping at my heels, just in case they get in a lucky hit. Especially the spiders, they have a ranged attack, so you're never really out of their range. 2, you get that XP bonus for having killed enough enemies, so you might as well kill as many as you can, especially if they're just in your way anyway. Yay, more starter potions. Ooh, another starter potion. Starter potions stop spawning when you leave this area. Or I should say, they only ever drop in Korthos, but you can buy way better potions later. And I almost never use healing potions anyway, because I have hirelings. Hirelings are basically mana potions that drink themselves. Long as you can keep the enemies from killing them on accident. Because they do have their own health and mana bars. Alright, we have followed the light beams and got both of the signal crystals activated. All that did was open a door. We can go forward again, and this is why I got the feather cloak. Activate feather cloak, and we don't have to walk all the way down. We can just feather fall down. And I think the map says the door is over here. Why? Because this is the way we haven't gone yet. So this is where the door has to be. So my feather cloak has fulfilled its purpose. It saved me having to walk down those ramps. I have died being lazy back when I first started playing this game, just yeeting myself off the cliff. Because if you're like a barbarian, you'll survive. You'll just take damage. I threw myself off as like a rogue or something, I think, and I went splat, and I was at exactly 0 HP just laying there. You don't die until -10. If you're at 0 or less, the game rolls a dice, and you have a chance of getting back up, or you have a chance of going and taking 1 damage. So if you're at -5, you've got 5 chances. You know, you go from -5 to -6, -7, -8, -9, -10, you're dead. You got 5 rolls of the dice to maybe not bleed out. It is a non-zero number of times, a non-1 number of times, I have been laying on the ground hoping I roll the dice correctly. So there's the dragon, as I just run past it, and those little things under the dragon, that's that other team. They're distracting the dragon. They punched it and they ran. And there goes the dragon chasing after him. And he's going to completely ignore me over here. The cultists are going to come check out what the noise was about. But the dragon is going to run off that way, chasing them. Because remember, that's why we're here. We are looking for the artifact. We are trying to destroy the thing to free the dragon, under the assumption that the dragon is not cooperating willingly and will very likely turn on the bad guys as soon as it's free. Whack, whack. Whack, whack, whack. There's a nice rest shrine in case you needed some more HP or mana back, especially if you're like a wizard and just shooting your way through this whole place. If you're gonna play a spellcaster, you really should play something else first, just so that you have a vague idea of how far apart the rest shrines are, because the rest shrines are how you're going to refill your magic in the middle of a quest. On normal mode, I believe you can reuse the shrines every 15 minutes. So you could just sit there at the shrine for 15 minutes in between to make sure that you're back to full mana. You know, if you blow it all in one room and you've already used the shrine and the boss is coming up, it's like, all right, I'll wait the remaining 7 minutes until it resets to go into the boss at full power. On hard and up, they don't, oh, I forgot to hit the lever. On hard and up, they don't refresh. So, hard mode, elite mode, reaper mode, you use a shrine, they're one shot. You don't get multiple uses. You gotta make it count. Coolest little thing graphically. There go the 3 adventurers. And there goes the dragon. You can see it under the ice as it's chasing them still. So I really like this like cool transparent ice effect that they basically never use again. It was also broken for quite a while. Just like incidental graphic updates. It broke. And because this is an old game, and the people working on it are not the original people who wrote the game however many years ago, who didn't bother writing down the instructions on how to do stuff, sometimes the new devs, like the current developers, don't actually know how things work because nobody wrote it down to begin with. So things will accidentally break. And it's not their fault. It's like how would they know that moving this lever will change that thing way over there? Like, how would they know that? Nobody wrote it down. Nobody made good documentation. It's way better now. Like, they can do documentation for things they're doing now. But half the time they're using, like, they have to piggyback on code that was written by somebody who didn't write down what they were doing, and they just have to kind of guess and check sometimes. And sometimes things work, and sometimes they don't, and sometimes a random thing breaks. And then sometimes they accidentally fix it, and they go, don't touch it. It's working. It's working. Just never touch that again. All right. Back down. We can move on again. This level is really long, but it's only long because you have to keep doing 2 levers at a time. Like, come on. Give me options. Don't make me have to go flip 2 of everything. Give me a choice. Make one of them a fight and the other one a trap. Make one of them a fight and the other one a jumping challenge. Right? And make it so I only have to do one. So if I'm a rogue, I don't have to do the fight. I can do the trapped one. If I'm a monk, I don't have to do the fight. I can do the jumping challenge. You know, just let me choose which way to do things. Give me an actual choose your own adventure thing. Don't just say go here, do 2 fights and flip 2 levers. Why do I have to do 2? Remember, this is tutorial for a very old game. This is a very old quest. I'm not saying that they need to put any effort into this quest right now. Just why am I flipping 2 levers? All of them die to summon a demon. Demons are extra weak to my smite evil attack, so I'm just going to smite him for half his HP and beat him down. And if I really wanted to, I could click on myself and click that heal button. And we're pretty much at the end. We need to hit these 3 more giant runes, which are only pushable after we have... There we go. Killed all the zombies. There's one. up here. Kill the second one. Once you, like, break one open, they start waking up a little faster. Boom, dead. One left. Chain reaction of breaking stuff. And open. Oh, what's this? The dragon and a mind flayer at level 2? We would not stand 4 seconds up against those things. However, he is drawing on this thing to force the dragon to obey him. And as long as he's distracted, trying to maintain control, he won't mind if we smash this thing. Whoops-a-daisy. All of a sudden he's not strong enough at all. Dragon does not seem very happy to have been mind-controlled. He seems very dead now. And we're just going to quietly walk away. There's Jeets.
Follow me. Hating wants a word with you.
Everybody survived. There's a shrine just in case one of your guys died. Yo, high fives all around.
Take this portal.
You click the door. You get your XP as it shoots you out.
And like magic, the snows stop.
If you were on snowy side, Korthos, now you're on sunny side.
Plans for you than just this small.
There is no treasure chest reward in that quest, but you do get a one-time reward here. So, you don't get another one of these if you do the quest again. Some of these items we picked up, like the boots, it has jump +3 on it, it has the run speed thingy clicky on it, and it has Anger's Wrath. This pair of boots is one of 2 pieces of the Anger's Wrath set. When both items are equipped, you will receive a +2 bonus to hit. That's the accuracy. Where's the second item? In here. This is all just the secondary items. The other quests give you the first items. You only get 1 set bonus because you only get to pick one of these once. So you could take this plus strength and plus resistance, which is your saving throws, finishes off Anger's Wrath. Very strong. For this part of the game, this is great. This is the default for any melee type guy. Easy. But note, this one has a 2 on it right there. That means it has a clicky. This has twice a day an itty bitty mana potion ability. This is ridiculously rare in this game. You can find clickies that heal you. You know, clicky means an item that you use. You can find items that heal you. You can find potions. You can buy potions. Except mana potions. You cannot buy mana potions. And there's only a handful of named items, like handcrafted by the devs, named items that give you the ability, like, this is free mana. This is free mana. It only gives you 10 to 35 spell points, but it's twice a day free mana. Paladins do use mana. And maybe, I mean, you got to make a choice. Do you want Anger's Gift? It'll make you stronger for 4 levels. And then you'll replace it and never use either of these pieces ever again? Or do you want the necklace, that might sit in your backpack for your entire character's life. You might never use it, but it'll be there. It'll be there for that time that you're like, oh God, there's one more fight between me and the shrine where I can rest. And my buffs have expired and I don't have the mana to recast my fire resistance. I might die to the next fight. Oh, but I have this tiny little reusable mana potion in my back pocket that'll give me just enough. It's happened before. I've had times where I pulled that thing out and it's been a lifesaver to be able to cast whatever spell it was that I didn't quite have the mana to cast. Especially when we have such a low starting mana as a paladin. This is legitimately an item you might consider just taking and keeping forever. So on this character, I'm just going to take Anger's Gift. Because I know what I'm doing. So I know I'm not going to be in that position often enough to care. If I run out of mana, I'm not going to care. I will just YOLO my way through anyway, and in a super, super pinch, if I'm almost at the end of a quest, and I don't want to re-enter, and it's like, dang it, I just absolutely, for some reason, I need to finish this quest. I can fire up my other computer and bring in my other account to go finish the quest for me. So I don't need it. But I really want you to think about that decision. I have that set bonus now, and because we started with an odd strength, we got another plus here. So it's really, this item gave us plus 3 to our accuracy and plus 1 to our damage and plus 1 to all of our saves by taking it. It's really, really strong right now. It's just that it's going to get outclassed in a couple levels. But for right now, it's amazing. And that was all of Korthos Island. We are now intended to talk to her and go to the harbor. However, as you might see if you're looking at the playlist, that's not where we're going to go next. Next time, keep on the Borderlands.